I'm expecting you. I'm kind of thinking that you need fuck, a short answer. Yes. I'm not gonna really elaborate on the why. I'm gonna say that yes. Shit, I kind of forgot. Was it here? Was this really the one that I chose? Okay, so last time we continued to play as Rebecca, and we came to the point where we kind of got close to Luke, and because of Kylie, we decided to just go ahead with her and Luke to go have dinner. Rebecca's long ass story, huh? Yes, so like we're currently at this branch right here, and there's still like all this way to go. Like, yeah, quite a lot. So there's gonna be a lot of reading. It's either believing the chances of ghosts or just no way. Yes. I do believe in the chances of seeing ghosts. I do. Welcome back, Peachy. Did you get the word? Because I did at the very last second. Nice. So we ended up last time. I got lots of true ghost stories for another day. Oh wow. I've seen a lot of videos of people apparently seeing those ghosts, so that's kind of interesting. After the strange encounter at the little girl's room, Rebecca tried to remain composed throughout her day. As her classes ended, she received a phone call from Marianne McCullough, who asked unusual things about the Ermengarde mansion. So last time she got a call from her and asked her about the mansion that is haunted, and she wanted to get a few hints from it. So I'm assuming Rebecca was like, wait, she actually knows about this too? And I think Rebecca is starting to believe a little bit more about things being cursed. So there's that. And now we're having a hangout with Luke and Kylie. Of all the places nearest to the school, Kylie picks this one, and waiting for food to be served is as awkward as I've imagined it would be. Not the bad sort, though. The pleasant kind. Surprisingly, Luke's an okay bloke when he tries. How are you today, by the way? I'm alright. I'm a little bit exhausted because I had a few things going on. I needed to help with things for my parents. But on the plus side, we did manage to decorate our apartment a little bit more. It's more Christmassy now. We got our typical, usual Christmas tree. We got decorated my entire room. It's a little bit lit up. Sadly, you can't really see it because I don't have a cam. But, you know, making it a little bit more pretty, even though the outside is nothing like the pretty. Like, there's no snow at all. We are promised some snow in the upcoming week, so I'm hoping that's going to be the case. Fingers crossed. But other than that, I guess I'm just because we didn't really have very good league matches earlier today in Salva's stream, and it was just And I also got the commission done. On the plus side, though, I received the commission done from one of the artists, and I managed to give it to Savu as an early Christmas gift. And he really loved it. Which makes me really, really happy. It just brings a smile to my face whenever I give a gift and someone is very happy receiving it. Like many other things that people are happy when they receive. Wink wink. If you know, you know. How about you, Peachy? Did you sleep well? Did you not have any bad dreams? Are you enjoying your afternoon? So long as you're willing to look past the tactless remarks or we're not exchanging acerbic quips. It's clear he's making an effort for this to be as fun as possible for the 6-year-old by being chattier, even going as far as to laugh when Kylie's story calls for it. I feel rested for once, but I have work again in an hour. Oh, really? On a fucking Sunday, no less? That is bollocks, if you ask me. I really hate hearing when people just say that, oh, I have work on a Sunday. Like, friend, you're supposed to be resting on a Sunday. Fuck work. Sunday is the time when everyone is resting. Except for those working at grocery stores. You work all weekend? Ugh. It's a European thing to rest on a Sunday. Yes, move to Europe, please. Forget about the days on the weekends. You're also gonna get a free healthcare, I promise you. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, you do have free healthcare. Ooh. Oh, right, Canada. Fuck. I thought Canada and America have the same healthcare issue. Whoops. My bad. Sorry. I'm way too used to comparing America with Canada in certain ways, thinking that they're having things the same. Guess I learn something new every day. Move next to Dev, get him out for dinner. I would be against that because that would get a very strange looks from people, because it's quite a homophobic country. It's an interesting thing to hear from the man. More than once I catch his frequent cheesed off expression easing whenever he looks at the girl. Sorry.
And your friend? Did you make up with her?
Yep! She said she just saw something she didn't like. She didn't accept the jellies, though. She told me to give it to you instead. She knows you like the red ones, too.
Not just that, I'm Asian going to Europe. I feel like a unicorn. Well, I tell you, it is just of a rare sight to see someone who has, like, Asian features on them, just as it is to, like, see someone of a different race. You know, like, people obviously get looks, but it's not more so of a racist type of look, like a judgmental, but more so the curiosity, because we hardly ever see those kinds. Like, I'm not saying kind, sounds like I'm being a massive racist, but you know what I mean. Like, there's not many people like that here. You've been to Europe and it was not fun? Oh, I've encountered very, very unpleasant people. Very judgmental people. I'm sorry.
Very well. Hand it to me later. I'll bring some of them home. I think your Tia would love to have some.
What a terrible liar. He says he dislikes the idea of having children of his own, but it's easy to see some part of him genuinely wants them. What's stopping him? Once Kylie wanders to the nearby bookshelves. After having lost interest in the conversation, however, we both revert back to silence. On our own, we have little to talk about, aside from a few questions about the other here and there. At one point, it does veer on local politics and history. He's surprisingly versed with it, that he can hold a decent conversation without throwing a jibby. We went to the Mediterranean and we were targeted for pickpockets and peddlers. Waiters often discriminated and tried to scam us. What the fuck? Okay, the targeted for pickpockets and peddlers I can understand, because it is quite common in very tourist populated cities, like Paris, for example. Like it's pretty high knowledge, like for example in Paris, that is that you can get easily pickpocketed and scams are a big thing. But waiters discriminating? That is a new low blow. That is something that is like you hardly ever hear it being actually happening, so that's really stupid. No, sorry. I just hate how I back out and the game just completely closes. Jesus. Hold on. I love being there, but never had an experience just like I did. You hear munchies? Yeah, I may have a few. Well, I'm sorry you had an experience like that, but I'm sure I'm being way too optimistic maybe, but I think the next time that you're gonna visit again, you're gonna have a much better experience. Like, and you're gonna have a much, like, more friendlier interaction with the locals, and it won't be pretty bad. Maybe if I had a big Lithuanian to protect me. Listen, I'm far from someone who can protect. Like, if I see the sign of danger, I'm hiding behind someone else. Like, I may look like the big boy that's like grrr, but no, deep down I'm a scaredy cat. Like, I literally just run away from trouble at the first sight that I see it. I can't help myself. Nothing too personal is ever mentioned so far, though. It's too early for those. And besides, I don't like him enough to speak of every minute detail of my life. Better keep it strictly between the silence and the casual repartee. This whole thing already looks and feels wrong on so many levels. I'm quite sure he feels the same. And when another bout of silence hits us and becomes too much, I've taken to finding something else to occupy myself. Going with my mobile, turning it from hand to hand while we wait for our respective meals. There will be a complete lie if I say I'm not waiting for some intervention. Then why didn't you run and hide from me? I'll tell you why, Savu. It's because I had no choice. You literally, before I could even react to what happened, the magical mist that surrounds your aura was already inside of my veins, and you just had complete control over me. Even if I wanted to flee at that moment, I couldn't do anything. That's what we call possession. And before I knew it, it was already too late. I'm already in your lair, sitting down, being stripped of my dignity and my clothes. Just being mortified and seeing this at the side of a massive big panther right in front of me, just glaring at me while he's smoking his massive pipe. On one hand, on the other is a massive whip ready to put to great use, you know? And then he just growls while I'm just completely stun-locked in complete disbelief, not knowing what the hell to do other than just stare and accept my, you know, fate, as you would call it. Congrats on getting 69, Rushlo, on your daily check-in. Ah yes, I recall that day, thanks for the memories. Well, you're welcome. And I hope that answers the question as to why I didn't run away and hide, because, well, you caught me by surprise. Isn't that what you do? Catching mighty preys, thinking whether you save them for dinner or make them your servants. Yeah, bitch, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous. Instead, I let all that get to my head. I don't care. I paint the town red. I could tell those are lyrics, but I don't know what the song. Oh my god, so many of you daily checked in at the same time. You're at 3, congratulations. Oh fuck. Doja Cat? Obviously. Something to pull me away from this place. Someone. Ashton's probably at Samwell by this time, working on whatever business he has there. Maybe if I make up an excuse and leave now, I can still catch him?
Cut that out, it's distracting.
My hand stills, holding the gadget awkwardly between us, arrested mid-pass by his bored tone. My brain is filled with too much useless knowledge. Has anyone ever told you that knowledge is power? No matter how useless it feels? Even the excessive knowledge that you think is not useful, it's still power? People say money is power, I say knowledge is power. You can get things with money, true. But if you don't have the brains to back up the money, if you don't have the knowledge, then You're just a chicken with no legs. Knowledge also a poison knowing too much. That is also true. Your mind can be excessively corrupted by having too much knowledge. But that's why you be smart. You get the knowledge. You have the correct knowledge, and you have enough knowledge to manipulate that so you don't overflow the amount of stack of knowledge that you have in your brain, and it helps you to, you know, be even more powerful. Know what I mean? I'm so powerful for knowing that you can cancel animation with Q on Mel. Wow, see? It's the little details, man, and it helps you win more games. See, that's the result of having a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is two sides of a one coin, Dev. Well, kind of the same theory, yes. He's been quiet for a long time now, after complaining about how appalling the tea they're serving here is. Before that, he has whined about how uncomfortable his chair is and tasteless the decorations they have here. Previous to that, he has gripped about how dull the place is compared to the one he frequents on the upper class side of the city. Well, I'm sorry for being a bunch of peasants, Your Majesty. Figures he'll lose patience soon, having already grumbled about almost everything his eyes can reach. It's just unfortunate he's turned to me now.
Why don't you just look somewhere else?
Part of my power comes from knowing your weaknesses. And what is my weakness, almighty Savu, the Panther? Bestow upon me the knowledge for what I do not know myself. What would be that weakness for thy, pray tell?
I can't. If I turn elsewhere, I might end up looking at the bob fog right behind us.
Oh my god, okay, these guys puking. Ugh. If it is 2, can I put it in the box and make it a Schrödinger case? I kind of wish I knew what that resembled. Part of my power on you is knowing your ticklish part. Isn't that pretty obvious? I don't know, I just wanted to confirm my suspicions, to know that I know the correct information, you know? It doesn't hurt to be... It doesn't hurt to make sure that you're correct, you know? Why is he green? Because it's an expression that he's almost about to like puke of how appalling the decorations are in this cafe, because it's not too grand for him since he's a millionaire.
Bobfoot. Do I even want to ask?
I don't want to hear it. If it's coming out of his mouth, it can only be either rude or offensive. Regardless, it continues.
Everything looks good. But have you seen the face? True horror.
What is wrong with you? You know, I frown about this in practice, but that mouth needs to be washed out with a particularly potent soap.
Oh, yes. Schrödinger's cat is the thought experiment where if you put a cat in a box and postulate if it was dead or alive, in the moment it is both dead and alive due to probability. What the fuck? Why would you use a cat? Why would you use a cat for that experiment? Why would you risk it? Something tells me that Sabo has a something for you. Wait, what? It's a concept? So it's not a literal thing, but it's just like the idea. Okay, I got you, Chad. I got you. I'm learning. It's fine. We're getting there. You learned it from the Alucard anime? Wow. When anime gives you so much knowledge. But yeah, it's like something unknown is all probabilities at once. That's just how the universe works, I guess.
Preferably by your own mum.
A shame she isn't here,
For whatever reason, that puts an end to that talk right away. He returned to watching his godchild, who has found a particularly interesting picture book and is now poring over it, while I turn back to my mobile. Still no message. Would it kill him to at least send a message, check if I were home? Meanwhile, Luke's silence lasts all by 10 seconds.
What is it with the damn mobile? Are you on a curfew?
He's got the immature act down pat, I'll give him that. Seriously, how old is this guy? Has he somehow been deprived of affection during childhood?
And what is it to you? I don't think it's any of your business what I do with it.
It is my business, alright? 1, I'm the one paying here. 2, I'm being forced to eat dinner in a place this stuffed and noisy. Lastly, it's been 10 minutes, the food isn't here, and I'm hungry. What you're doing with the mobile is annoying and distracting, when the least you can do is keep things entertaining while I suffer.
Oh my god, he's starting to sound like master of all things, like too whiny about everything. Not everything to his standards, not everything to 100%. God. I'm sorry, Your Majesty.
That's your problem? Shouldn't you be more worried about how this entire affair looks to other people?
Oh, I didn't realize this was one.
Oh no, now he's fucking smirking, this guy.
You move fast, Daisy. You could have informed me first, you know.
Oh my god, stop!
Had I known, I would have taken you someplace nicer. Certainly the kind with better food and plenty of good wine.
Why did I ever think this was a good idea? Did it ever occur to you how inappropriate this might look to everyone?
Why should I care? It's only inappropriate if you make it out to be.
Why is he moaning with every sentence that he says? God, he's just so nasty. Jesus.
Relax. I won't do anything to make your boyfriend angry.
Oh, he knows.
He doesn't even need to know we dined out. It'll be our dirty little secret.
Oh my god, look at that face. That's a face of a man that's about to commit some offensive crimes.
He's not my boyfriend.
The words come out with more force than I've intended. By the time I realize my slip up, his lips are already spread in a sneer. He slowly crawls up in my face.
Oh, so there is someone. You're so easy to read.
Briefly, his eyes search my face. I have no idea what he sees, nor do I care to know, but in the next second he barks out a laugh, displaying his amusement without reserve to everyone within earshot. In that moment, I know I've flipped a switch in him somewhere, and I've lost my chance to deny his assumptions. Do I even want to? Isn't that the reason why I've been so focused on my mobile, waiting for another message for him? For a reason to dump this awkward meeting to go after him?
Look how mottled you are. Now the nickname makes more sense. Shy Miss Pink and her cute little crush. The color suits you, by the way. It matches the hair.
It's not a crush.
Classic denial. But in reality, you want him to be yours, and your every move is made to make him notice you. In fact, you don't want him to see you with another man in a non-professional capacity, because he might misinterpret it.
To be fair, Brusilo, it was my choice to go with him. I had a choice whether to go dine with him, because Kylie really wants to, or I just leave them and go find Ashton. And I decided to go with this one, because we're kind of getting like on good foot here. We're kind of getting on good terms with this guy. And I know you previously said that you don't like Ashton, so I decided, well, that's the perfect chance to dump Ashton.
The same thing goes for you, doesn't it? Bloody, yours is even worse. What about your wife? Aren't you concerned she might misinterpret this?
Daisy, just because we tied the knot doesn't mean we have to be joined at the hip at every single opportunity.
Don't be ridiculous. Why else would you marry her if you don't want to be with her for the rest of your lives?
Because, Daisy, she also has other things she can do with her life and friends to spend time with.
That's true. He has a point there.
Granted, I don't like some of them, and I have a few of my own she utterly dislikes. But wifey doesn't have to know my every move. Nor do I hers.
That's a very healthy relationship.
Do you know how boring that would be? To be with the same person for all hours of the day. Losing sleep over the mere fact they're not with you? or putting everything you have aside to please them? To have your whole world revolve around one person?
That's a very, very dangerous path to go. No one should ever go for that when it comes to a relationship. That's my theory, at least.
Aren't you just mistaking that for something else? Unlike you, there are other people here who don't share the same jaded outlook you have. Don't lump everyone together just because it didn't work out for you.
And you, my dear, are unexpectedly naive.
What's so naive about it? If you love each other, wouldn't you want to always see them, be with them, to have them focus solely on you? Maybe you haven't been loved enough.
Oh, it's that kind of thing for you, isn't it? The love is eternal, love is a strong emotion shite. A starry-eyed girl pining for her dashing Prince Charming? What's next? Romantic confessions of love? A grand wedding on the beach? Dozens of spawns running around in some picturesque home in the suburbs? How quaint. Are you also expecting it's going to be sunshine and rainbows after? A happily ever after? Please.
What? I never once said. And is all of that such a bad thing to hope for?
I think the issue here is that, okay, so we all know that Ashton, okay, we all know that Rebecca has a crush on Ashton, right? But Ashton slightly has a crush on Isabella. And Isabella feels the same way, so Rebecca is now being the jealous type, and she really wants to be with Ashton. And what she's saying here right now is that she wants whatever she like said to Luke just now, she kind of wants that for herself, for Ashton. And Luke is kind of like getting her back into reality, saying like, well, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows even if you get together. Like, there's going to be quarrels. You can't just consistently love one person like 24/7 and expect that everything's going to be good. That's how she's kind of expecting it to be. As soon as like Ashton realizes that, hey, she kind of likes the guy, and if he realizes that, hey, I kind of like her too back. A girlie in love argue with a married man, yeah, like she wouldn't really know the reality and duality of it. So she is kind of naive in that point. Like, she's not realizing the reality of it all. I'm gonna have to siding with Luke on this one.
Woman, I've been married for 7 years, and I'm telling you, it's far from what you have in your pretty red head. Tell me, how long has this song and dance been going for you and your man? Maybe I am mistaken.
My partner is my boss, imagine that. That is just worse. That is the worst. Averting my eyes from him is all I managed to do. What does his mere 7 years have compared to the 17 I've had with Ash? It's laughable he thinks those two things are even comparable. Ash and I may have never moved past the boundaries of friendship, like what I'm hoping for years, but what we have isn't something anyone can scoff at. I've always been by his side, endured everything with him. I know him better than anyone. No matter what this man, this complete stranger says, I know there will always be a place for him beside me. See, now she's being a little bit too possessive. Like, she's not possessive, obsessive over Ashton when she never really expressed her feelings towards him. So that's kind of her issue on that part. She was just hoping that he would notice her as time went by. And that never happened because she never made the first move. She was expecting him to make the first move. And yet...
Come on, Daisy, that shouldn't be too hard. 3, 5, 8, 10, 20.
His words easily seep into my heart like sharp daggers, gradually picking apart everything I've ever been sure of. Despite myself, the doubts resurface and my defenses crumble right in front of my eyes. It's no wonder he sees through me, and as expected, he ridicules it. Laughs. Restrained, low and rumbling, a sharp sound striking the air around us, amidst the murmur of people and the soft notes of the music playing over our heads. His shoulders shaken when his mirth becomes too much even for him. He reaches up a hand and passes it over his face, as if to hold his glee close to him.
Lordy bullocks, this is just brilliant. Oh, mother, why do I always keep running into these things? This day couldn't get any better. I think I'm gonna need a stiff drink after this.
It dissolves into another peal of laughter, but when it subdues, what he has for me are more words. Scathing, each of them. The urge to run from here has never been this strong.
Is everything you said how you plan to act, if that man of yours ever ends up with you? Cling to him? Put him on a bloody pedestal? Let him become the center of your universe? Although with how long this seems to be going on, I think you've already done so. Marriage will just be icing on the top. Like some sort of reward for you, isn't it? For being a good, patient, loyal little girl all this time. Never looking at another man.
That is a very rich douchebag laugh, Charu. What he said right now never mind.
He must have been having a grand time with someone pining over him this long. I'm a little envious, to be honest. Maybe also a little surprised he hasn't suffocated from all your attention yet.
Laugh all about it if you want. It's not like you'll ever understand.
Luke falls silent. The ridicule in him is gone in an instant, and his eyes meet mine, sharp and imposing. A challenge, but I hold it against him with the same intensity, because if there's something I won't let his opinion trample on, it's this. What does he know? However, he's the first one who looks away, focusing his eyes back to where Kylie is, and for a moment I believe I've won, until he draws in a breath and turns back to me. The words he dropped next, though hushed, hang heavily in the distance between us.
You're right. I won't. But I do know not to mistake love for obsession, woman. They are not the same thing.
He hit the nail on the head. That is exactly what she's battling through. He does know his shit, and he just completely broke her bubble. Because Rebecca's the type of person that's like always has something to like argue back about. But now she just doesn't have anything to throw back at, because he knows that that's what deep down inside that she has a problem with. Hi, Sky. Also, he doesn't have to hold back for her. Yes, like he can just say whatever he wants on his mind, because he knows that she's the type of person to be like as well. He's a douchebag, he's an ass, but he's smart. It rattles. Out of everything he said tonight, this is the one thing that twinges my heart. Maybe it's in the manner he delivers it, the lack of conceit in his posture, or an underlying insult in a tone he takes. The remark is not meant to cut, merely to express a simple truth. This time, it's him who holds gaze against mine. Another unspoken challenge, and I realize that if this happened minutes before, I'd already have an equally searing rhetoric at the top of my tongue. There's none. But the anger is there, ringing at my insides, prodding at the uncertainties I've long kept. Isn't it enough? We have the long years we've been together. We have the memories. Whenever he needs me, until other people came in between us, I've always been the one there. That dedication and loyalty should mean something, shouldn't it? I've always been sure of it, and that one day he'll see it for what it is, except that he doesn't. Like, I believe Ash does not know that she has a crush on him. And that's because, well, she was trying to make it as obvious as it is, but maybe he's just oblivious to it all. In spite of that, in this minute, under this man's scrutiny, my own heart wavers. Now, I struggle to find the words. Oh. Plus. Let's go. However, those are for me to ponder on. This arse doesn't need to hear them, and neither is he entitled to them just because he dished out some profound-sounding life wisdom no one asked for. So I look away, hoping my own silence would be enough for an answer for him. And it is, for a moment. Up until warm, furious tears prickle behind my eyes, stinging, begging for release, along with every other frustration this dumb talk has built up in me. All because of this man. I hate him. I hate the fact that he has to be the one to see me in this sorry state. I'm already expecting another barf from him when his expression shifts. Except he panics. In the span of 3 seconds, his expression changes from indifferent to concerned to utter panic. It would probably have been funny if it weren't so irked by the sight of this glaiked bastard.
Hey, are you crying? Are you going to cry? Stop that right now, woman, or I'll...
Will you shut up?
He clams up almost before I could finish. Whether this is due to the sudden force in my voice or how I look, I pretend not to think of it. He seems like a deer caught in the headlights, with the way he's making himself smaller in his seat. But I'm still pissed. I'm tired, and if I can't punch him, I can at least scream at him.
You're an annoying bag of dick, you know that? If I hear another word from you, I'm sewing that bloody mouth shut myself!
It does do the trick. Not to the effect I've hoped, but the moment I've snapped at him, The stinging at the back of my eyes melts away, and a strange calm overcomes me. A fragile thing when found in the middle of a busy coffee shop. Nevertheless, it's appreciated considering it doesn't last. Immediately broken by the very person that put me in this state with a few awkward pats to my shoulder. Done twice. Thrice. And another. Until my patience runs out again and I'm pulling out the book from my back, raising it threateningly over his head. It'll surely dent his skull if it slams down at his height. Part of me wants to see that, but I restrain myself. He has the good sense to recoil, though. Shortly, he shrinks back to his seat and waves his hand in front of him in a gesture of surrender.
Watch that book, woman! I already warned you about your little threats. You don't want to see my brand of angry!
You're clearly lost and screaming like children. Yeah, so that's her, like, coping mechanism. Like, when she is hit with the truth and she realizes that, her only way of, like, dealing with it, I guess, is kind of like, you know, screaming back, you know, like, trying to get the defensive mechanism going. It's just how she is.
Then keep your hands to yourself!
Alright, that's it. People these days, I swear you treat them nicely and this is where it gets me.
You're the last person I'd ever want to comfort me. Even if we're the only two remaining people on Earth. Don't flatter yourself.
Okay, have it your way, Daisy.
And stop calling me Daisy! I have a name, you know!
Oh. Sorry guys, I'm eating a sausage. He mutters something inaudible under his breath, although afterwards he doesn't say anything further. For the next minute, he simply contents himself with making a mess out of the paper napkins, folding them into clean shapes without any clear intent, before clumping them in his hand when he loses interest and dumping them in a small pile in front of him. How big is it? It's as big as a charging port. A waiter serves our meal soon enough and Kylie makes her way back to our table. But before I can take a single bite, he mutters something. The words spoken in the same tone he's used this morning, all under his breath whenever the honest part of himself would show. Despite my rather confusing opinion of the man, I stop short of shoving food in my mouth to look at him. His eyes are on his food as he speaks, busying himself with cutting a portion of meat. Fuck, I almost pushed my bowl right off the table and destroyed it. Before cutting a portion of meat on his plate. Finish your sausage before speaking, boy. Hey, Busolo, don't take that tone with me. My charging port is huge, Dev. It's a 67V Giant. Well, mine is a little bit linear, so it's not as big as you imagined to be. How big is it? Holy shit, that's my first question. I need Jesus. I don't think Jesus can help you there, Sky. Need a sack of meat. But what comes out of him only rings true against my ears, above the din of the coffee house.
For what it's worth, Rebecca, I didn't ever think that's all there is to you. Why else would I leave my own goddaughter in your care if you're just some lovesick woman?
He spears a piece of his food, pops it into his mouth, and that's it. One whole day with this man and I still can't figure out what his deal is. But for what it's worth as well, I don't think he's an entirely bad guy. The rest of our meal slips by in silence afterwards. Aside from Kylie's occasional chatter, the whole dinner goes by without another word exchanged between the two of us. Somehow we managed to make it through the whole thing without triggering another tension-riddled conversation. A good thing, perhaps. One, because Kylie's sitting in front of us, and two, I probably won't be able to hold a proper conversation with my mind heavy with thoughts. We depart from the coffee house just as the evening crowd starts to thin out. The same wordless silence fills out short walk back to the school, except for when Luke gestures at a nearby flower shop and enters it without waiting for Kylie and I. He emerges minutes after carrying a banquet of daffodils with the same sodden expression back on his face. Unlike the previous ones, he tucks this one away almost as soon as he looks up at us, a moment he's not willing to share. In my confusion, he merely answers with a shrug and continues walking.
For someone important.
I accept it for what it is, if only because he doesn't owe me an explanation. It does leave more questions about him, each one as baffling as the previous one. Those are the last words spoken this evening before we had our own ways. Up until I arrive home, I still can't understand him. Here, however, a whole different set of questions await me, and much like everything today, it comes with a littlest of things. A lone note greets me upon reaching my unit's door. Its edges flutter lightly against the faint, warm breeze passing through the small complex. My hand stops short of twisting the knob as I stare at it, though I don't make any moves to take it. Ashton's neat script lines its surface. I dropped by earlier. You weren't around. Any idea where Scaredy Cat is? I couldn't contact her. Inspector Abigail has a few questions. LPD stuff, something about her dead co-workers. Anyway, let me know how the two of you have been doing. I'll see you later. Ash. The message he left, short and straight to the point, but not without the underlying hint of friendship. He's looking for Isabella, apparently. Something about LPD's investigation of her co-worker's death, but ends its formal tone by checking on me. Us. Any other day, the former part of this message will likely prod at the piercing enemy I've been holding, while the latter will probably send my heart a flutter. Little things from him that I want to mean something more. Yet this time only guilt fills me and my eyes briefly shifts towards Isabella's empty unit. Luke's words repeat inside my head as I do,
For what
so...
it's worth, Rebecca, I didn't ever think that's all there is to you. Why else would I leave my own goddaughter in your care if you're just some lovesick woman?
Have I always been like this?
Yes, Rebecca, you've been obsessed over a man, when you're not even sure if he likes you back the same way. If anything, he's probably just oblivious to the fact that you love him. This selfish? In truth, I've intended to call Ash after that dinner. If I didn't catch him here, invite him to that party like I've planned. There's time and he's still probably awake at around this hour. But my hands won't move. And perhaps it is for the better. Until I've had the time to think this through, it'll be best if I distance myself from those I've been clinging tightly to. Find a different perspective and see things for what they are. With a soft sigh, I reach for the note and crumple it under my hand. The knob twists open with much ease when I enter this time. Maybe after some introspection, it'll be easier. For tomorrow, I have that woman and the mansion to worry about. It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. The night wears on without further incident, despite the great number of thoughts swimming inside my head. Come morning, there's only a hush, a strange sort of stillness unlike the ones greeting me every morning. This one's uneasy, tight with anticipation, like a string stretched thin, merely waiting for the proper time to snap. Granted, it doesn't make my day any less pleasant, but the edge is there. And as expected, the second I step out of my flat, it comes apart, broken by the voices of two squabbling adults echoing from a floor below. The quiet was nice while it lasted. Shame.
What the hell were you thinking?
I wasn't. Ow! Could you let go?
Not a few seconds later, they both ascend the stairs, with Ashton pulling Isabella by her wrist. She struggles as she should, but his hold on her remains firm. Freeing herself means having to draw blood, as she attempts to pry his hand off with her other one, or using unnecessary force to push herself away, neither of which is better than the other. One could potentially end in an accident, while the other means having to hurt him physically. She has the good sense to realize that, at least. However, it doesn't take the desperate edge in her voice when she answers Ashton's temper with her own. So, on they go, none the wiser to my presence.
Do you have any idea how much trouble you could get in?
That's why I'm asking you for help.
Is this what you've been doing these past 3 days? Because this doesn't make your case convincing, Isabella.
Rose died, Ash.
I know. Every single person in Luxembourg knows. It's on the damn news. But that doesn't mean...
People are missing. Some of those are my friends. And BRC's just covering it all up.
You can't just barge into my office and expect me to do anything about it, right off the bat. This isn't a children's game, Isabella. We have procedures. We have to follow protocol. There's red tape all over this case for a reason. We sure as hell don't investigate things just because some stupid letter spooked us.
Ash, you have to believe me this time. If we don't do anything right now, more people will...
It's been a whole week. This stupid letter prank is getting old real fast. I'm sick of it. It was funny the first time, not so much now.
You're the only one that can help me with this, Ash. Even Rebecca won't.
All right, you two are awfully loud.
What's going on here?
Both of their heads snap up, almost in unison. A displeased frown is on each of their faces, but this is a necessary interruption. What can they do? People still in their units have already taken interest in the commotion, with some taking a peep behind their curtains, while others are bold enough to creak open their doors, if only slightly. If they don't keep it down, pretty soon our landlady will show up. Getting a reprimand from her is the last thing I want to happen. First thing on a Friday morning, even if this is hardly my fault.
Well, if you want to continue this, you two better do it elsewhere. You're disturbing other people.
Don't worry, we're done here.
No, we aren't. Becca, I looked it up. I called them. I visited some of them, and...
Which you shouldn't have done in the first place. Isabella, you're going to create more problems for us with what you're doing. A team has already been assigned to it. Leave it to us.
Your precious team is looking at it the wrong way. Becca, it's not just Rose. There are others.
The last bit strikes a chord, props strongly at a memory. At that vicious smile already etched deeply inside my mind. The image appears clear enough that at the mere mention of it, I stumble on my own question.
What do you mean?
The letter, Rebecca! It's not...
It's nothing. If there's really something going on because of that dumb letter, none of us would be standing here. We've all read it, haven't we? But Rebecca's alive, Zach's alive, I'm alive. So for the last time, this isn't a curse. There's a murderer on the loose, and your coworkers happen to be the victims. Give it a rest, Isabella. It's too early for this shit.
Don't you think that's too much for a coincidence?
Not so much. Most serial killers follow a pattern. I'll tell you about it some other time. And anyway, coincidence or not, the point is, civilians like you aren't supposed to get involved. You're putting yourself in danger.
I wasn't chasing after...
Will the both of you slow down and stop arguing for a minute? What's this about your coworkers, Belle?
Becca, please don't tell me now you believe this shit.
Sure, in a heartbeat I'll agree with Ashton. That's how it has always been, besides having a very good point. Really, they're the very same ones he'll make every time I ask too many questions. But the fact of the matter is, what he wants to hear from me right now is far from what I've been seeing, sensing these past few days. It doesn't matter what Isabella or I believe on our own. Something odd has been happening around me, and that letter she picked up is at the heart of all this. But however I respond to the question in their faces, only one of them will be pleased with it. Belle, you shouldn't be doing these things. I might have seen her. Oh my god. Alright. So what do? If I say that Belle, you shouldn't be doing these things, my friendship with her is gonna go down, but I believe with Ashton it's gonna go up. If I say I might have seen her, it'll probably be the opposite. Well, we all know that the curse is real. It's true. But this is just who I want to side with more. What's the timeline here now, folks? Luke and Kylie invited Rebecca as she was about to leave. Despite receiving a text from Ashton, Rebecca agreed and the three spent an evening. Did she see it? Yes, she saw at least possessions happening. So when earlier, before she went out on agreed to go have dinner with Luke, she went into the bathroom to look for Kylie's friend. And Kylie's friend was just sobbing like earlier. And then when she turned around, she saw possessed Kylie with that smirky face. And she was just whispering and started choking her a little bit more until Luke called out in the girls' bathroom and said, "Are you guys done soon?" And that snapped her back in. And that really gave Rebecca a shock. So she has seen things. Say the truth, I guess. I think I'm going to go with that as well. I mean, I want to be on Ashton's good side, but truth of the matter is they need to know. Fuck Ashley. Yeah, see that? Isabella plus, Ashton minus. Fuck it. Ashton, in particular, won't be too happy to hear it. Imagining the look his face doesn't take too much effort. His entire posture shifts for the moment my reluctance shows, shoulders tensing, brows furrowing, eyes gaining a sharp edge. He's already bracing himself from the disappointment. And it will be a disappointment. Not in a million years did I ever believe I'll be saying this either.
I might have seen her. The woman Belle's been telling us about. The one she said she saw in the attic.
Both of them stare at me like I've grown an extra hand, and for a few moments Ashton looks as he's about to have a fit. A pause threads at its heels after, a silence thick enough one can almost hear a pin drop.
You're kidding, right?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Really, Becca? Not funny.
Ash, I'm not lying. Why would I lie about this? It's been this way since the film fest. The past few days have been really odd since we read that letter.
Or maybe you're all just feeling under the weather.
I'm not sick. Don't you think I'd know that by now?
Becca, you're starting to sound like Scaredy Cat. Give me a break.
Why don't you?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, you two.
Isabella's voice cuts sharply through the conversation, abruptly putting an end to the brewing argument.
It's all my fault. This is all my fault. I was only hoping I could fix this before any of you. I'm sorry for dragging you all into this.
She breathes in, deep, steadying, and in that moment something falls behind her eyes as she looks away.
I'll fix this. I promise.
A quiet resolve. Same one I saw in her that night from 3 days ago, but this time it burns brighter. Even Ashton wavers at its sight. When she looks him straight in the eyes, gaze unflinching, gradually his grip on her wrist loosens.
Belle, there's nothing to fix. The problem is...
Just this once, Ash.
Her voice, though small and lacking any force, stops him. Along with it, every sound, every noise dies around us, a hush descending as if the world is waiting for her words.
You don't have to come with me, but if I don't do anything, I am going to regret it.
She lays a hand atop this. Gentle, pleading, almost intimate, if one does not consider the circumstances we found ourselves in.
Please.
If this game has the balls to kill some of them off, I will applaud so hard. Well, if I can tell you, Busolo, is that the previous routes that I have played, I could have died there plenty of times. Like, for example, Zachary, he could have died. McCullough could have died in a very gruesome way. So did Isabella. So can Isabella die in a very unpleasant way. So if you fail the minigame, you could... No, it's not a minigame. In minigames, you can fail, yes, but it's just going to bring you back to when the QuickTime event happened. I am a little bit worried, though, about showing those graphical scenes, because they're really, like, disgusting. Like, they're gruesome. So pick wrong and you die. Yes, exactly. You pick the wrong option and you live with the consequences. And that character just, like, completely descends from the playthrough. You don't see them. I can try showing you right now. I did it once with Isabella's route. So I got to the end. So this was one of the QuickTime events when I was going to work. And whenever you go to work, and make sure that you get into the correct ending where you survive. Now, the skull is for the QuickTime event. If you fail the QuickTime event, then you die and you start over from the QuickTime event. However, if I've chosen another path, which is stay at home, I would have been giving a second option, and it would have given me another choice, and one of those choices would lead me to my death, which is the skull right here. You were right about the skull, but I thought you were talking about this one, but you're talking about this one, yes. So this was one of the endings where Isabella just completely dies, and this is like another third variable ending that happens. And it's just as bad, to be honest. It's very gruesome. She doesn't die, but it is gruesome. You unlocked Lux. Damn right I did. And that's Hannah. And so can Hannah die as well, I think. Yeah, Hannah can die like in this ending as well. That is very interesting for the second playthrough, yes. Well, I could try going for other endings after I finish this game, but this is going to be a very long read, yet again. Okay, time for shower, then work. Best of luck on the rest of the stream. Thank you, Peachy, for joining in. I hope you have a good shower. And work goes by essentially quick, because fuck week on the weekends. But yes, that's about it. So we're currently like on the lucky streak and everyone is alive, so we've made good decisions thus far. Ashton would never tell a soul, will never admit it even to himself, but it is in that short second that his own resolve breaks. The moment the hard edge in his eyes softens and he relinquishes his hold on her, letting his hand fall limply to his side. Wordlessly, Isabella steps back and runs off, leaving only a muttered thanks and a small lacked True's smile. Only after the last of her footsteps fade away does Ashton move, breaking the silence with one of his sharp exhales before reaching up to pinch the bridge of his nose in a gesture of frustration and surrender.
Did you really have to tell her that?
What do you want to hear from me then? That everything's fine?
No, I want all of you to stop putting these ideas in her head. None of it is helping. Never mind. Don't worry about her. I'll bring her back here.
He's already poised to leave when my own instinct takes over. I reach for him, gripping his elbow with the same unyielding grip, the action prompted by voices whispering at the back of my mind. He's already made it clear he's not going to believe me, but he deserves a word of caution. He knows where all of this will take us. Who knows where all of this will take us? How all of this will end. He shouldn't be caught off guard, beliefs notwithstanding. I would love for the furry Vian to have a chart like that. Same. But I believe it would take like years of like attempts to get that right. It's very, very difficult to get everything like set in stone and have everything move flawlessly so that every decision you make actually makes an impact. I might need to go as well and have an exam tomorrow. Good night, fellas. Alright, Breach, have a good night. I have confidence that you'll nail the exam tomorrow. If only one person said it, might not be true, but like 3-4 people already said, boy, yeah. He's a little bit oblivious to it, but I mean, he is a detective. He needs facts, he needs evidence, not superstitions.
Ash, I know you don't believe in those things she's saying. And you know me. I'm less inclined to believe in those things as you do. But I've seen something. There's something strange going on here. You don't have to buy it. If you don't want to listen to me, fine. But please, try to hear her out. It's bad enough that Isabella goes off like this without telling anyone. I'm just worried something might happen to her if she keeps at it. Talk to her, okay?
As if she trusts me enough for that.
Doesn't the fact that she approached you first about this, instead of me, already say a lot?
A different kind of trust, granted implicity, and never spoken, sometimes too big, too fragile to last. He falls silent for a long moment as he turns it over in his mind. In the end, all he manages to offer is a small nod before he departs, and a promise to at least listen to her, without the teasing or the jibbies. A favor for me and the least you could do for her. This is as much as I can do for him, as well, until I've understood what's happening myself. Tonight, hopefully, where this all started will provide the answers I'm looking for. Oh, so this is the housewarming party about to happen, right? Except the whole thing is off to a bad start, and all of a sudden, whatever Isabella claims dwelling in this mansion becomes the least of my concerns. Of all the cabbies in Luxborn, I have to chance upon the superstitious ones. Still not as bad as finding out your car's starter refuses to crank on when it was still working this morning, yes. But it's equally as frustrating when you're forced to walk the rest of the way. All because the driver got spooked. Isabella and him will get along so well. I do get his reasons. After all, I've had my fair taste of the bizarre lately, all of which might have been brought upon by that letter Isabella found here. But you'd think he'd at least be charitable enough to take me a little closer to the house itself, not at a distance 15 minutes away from it by foot. Good thing I'm not wearing anything too formal or constricting. Otherwise, that short walk would have put me in a bad mood, long before I have to suffer in a room full of strangers tonight. Although this soon proves to be a problem the second the driveway comes into view and I hear the entrance. Severely underdressed in a total understatement to describe how I look. Cars worth more than my own apartment and childhood home combined, like the mansion's front yard, men and women decked out in their best also flock near the entrance. Most are eager for the festivities to start, while some are simply idling about, enjoying the warm afternoon sun before it sets. But once the woman standing at the front porch speaks, their undivided attention immediately shoots to her. Presumably Mrs. Wright, from the confident manner she holds herself among present company. This despite keeping a far simpler appearance than the rest of her own guests or not having her husband beside her. A trait worthy of utmost admiration at best. At worst, she is the envy of every woman, the subject of every gossip in Luxborn.
Welcome, welcome everyone.
And Mum said we could have been good friends? I can't even picture myself mingling with the kind of guests she has. though I admit she does seem familiar, now that I've seen her this close. Memories of sitting in a vanity not mine, being dressed in clothes too fancy for my tastes. They flit briefly in my mind until her cheerful tone rises above the buzz of her enraptured audience again.
Please, make yourselves at home.
I wish I could share her enthusiasm, really. But being surrounded by all this extravagance, for the lack of a better term, merely makes me dread how the rest of the night might go. I shouldn't have let Luke's words affect me like that. I should have just gone ahead and asked Ashton like I've planned. If he were here, then I won't have to—
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
The rest of that thought dies in my mind at once. A moment of astonishment overcomes me before confusion sets in seconds later. It takes another for my body to catch up. Once it does, when I finally turn to see it for myself, it's his familiar mop of hair that catches my eyes first. And there he is, almost an arm's reach, if it isn't for the guests standing between us. Ashton Frey, standing in the Armorgard Mansion's driveway, with an air too like a day slack for someone who absolutely abhors parties of any form, or has any business here as far as I know. The picture it forms is too bizarre for me, that my mouth speaks out ahead of any coherent thought.
Ashton?
He weevils on his heel with an equally puzzled face. An odd expression flashes momentarily across it once he sees me, though he blinks it away before he can figure out what it is exactly.
Becca, what are you doing here?
I was invited.
Really? I had no idea you were friends with the host.
Well, it's my parents, actually. But that's beside the point. What are you doing here? You hate parties.
I still do. I'm just here on behalf of a friend.
That in itself is weird coming from him. It doesn't help that he isn't even making an effort to spare a glance my way when he answers. Instead, they're focused at some point in the crowd. His gaze darting between people walking past us until a small frown forms in his face.
That's rare. Do you have someone with you then?
Nope, just me. I won't be staying long.
Well, if that's the case, maybe you and I can...
Chief?
Ashton, what's...
Unexpectedly, he places a hand on my shoulder, stopping me mid-sentence. He still has the distracted look on him, except this time his eyes are sharper, as if he has found what or who's been searching for among the throng of partygoers earlier.
Sorry, Becca. I need to... There's something I need to check for a bit. I'll talk to you later. Do you have a ride home?
No, I had to take a cab here. My car wouldn't start this afternoon. But what about...
I told you to get that old thing checked before, didn't I? You
Now
can
it's
head
my
back with me after
time
this.
to dive to Deb. Monday in 5 hours. Enjoy the story, Dev. Thank you, Busalo. Have a good sleep. Thanks for sticking around, as always.
Anyway, I gotta go. See ya. Be careful, okay?
Amid the smile he hastily throws my way with a frown of my own. What does he mean by that? But before I can ask, already he has turned his back from me and is walking away without a single explanation whatsoever. In some desperate effort I try to catch up to him, if only to know what warranted this sudden departure and his odd warning at the end.
Hey, be careful! About what
Only for my attempts to be interrupted by a muffled ringing from my pocket. Mom's cheerful voice greets me as soon as I answer.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
The conversation itself doesn't last long. Just a simple hello, a reminder to enjoy the party, and to send their regards to their old student. But when the call ends and I get to look up, Ashton's already nowhere in sight. With a sigh and admittedly a little disappointment, I tuck my mobile back into my pocket and head inside. Even with familiar company, however coincidental this meeting is, this is somehow shaping up to a terrible evening. The party hits full swing an hour later. With the host's opening remarks giving, still no sign of her husband, the poor woman, and the guests promptly fed, the band shifts the melody to a livelier tune. Soon, laughter and the rhythmic tapping of shoes fill the room, all in accordance to the lifting strains of music. It seems fun, I admit. Fascinating at certain moments, the flurry of dancers making the music their own, almost with no care in the world. If I weren't so indisposed, I'd have joined the crowd for a song or two. There isn't a lack of invitations, anyway. Plenty of them, in fact, with some asking more than once. It's only my stubborn refusal that prevents me from joining them. And I can. A single nod is all it'll take, and the evening would have been far enjoyable for me. But pride in my own silly hopes, the thought of being seen with one of them by him, curbs that as much as I hate to admit it. Because doing so also means outright acknowledging the douche's claims. That he has to be the one to tell me that still sends my blood boiling. I would have preferred someone more agreeable, less of an ass. It's a hard truth to swallow, especially when the very person at the center of it makes denial difficult. Can't even spare me a minute of his attention or a single glance at me the whole evening. Well hell, Zachary might have spoken more words to me. The big guy is busy covering the event to boot, but at least he manages to slip in a conversation or two between takes, or a small wave of his hand when he passes by. Ashton's excuse? He's been flitting in and out of sight the whole time. One moment he's hanging around a small group, in another he's hovering around the string band. Just a second ago he's wolfing down some deviled eggs by the buffet table, a glass of wine in hand. Next thing I know, he's gone. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he doesn't want to be with any of his friends. Is it because his boss is here? What's the big deal about that? It has never bothered him before.
I swear, the next person who asks, I'm dancing the night away with. Ashton can go fuck himself.
Oh.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Her voice almost makes me jump, too focused on the gobshite wandering around the ballroom and my own annoyance to notice. If she's heard of any of my profanities I've mumbled, or she's taken notice of my discomfiture, she makes no comment on it, merely greeting me with a smile when I turn my attention to her. Mrs. Hannah Wright gives a whole different air when she's not speaking to an audience. Homely, a bit too friendly for my liking. But I guess that comes from being raised in such an environment and having to deal with pompous, snooty people. Though, I suppose nothing really has changed from years ago. I remember her carrying herself in the same manner during that one and only visit. Does she remember any of it? I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't. It has taken me a while myself. She's probably met a lot of people like little Becky throughout the years. Might have already forgotten about me or my parents. People like her thrive on connections after all. Nevertheless, I return her smile, awkward and stiff as it may be.
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
It takes me a while to realize who she's talking about, until Ashton walks by again in closer proximity than any of the times he has done so far this evening. Still without a look of acknowledgement our way though, even with Mrs. Wright speaks loud enough to catch the attention of anyone within earshot.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
Oh, here she goes again. This isn't the first time someone has made that assumption. Almost every student I've had in the past did. My co-workers more often than not assume he is. A few of my neighbors also think we're an item. Not that Ashton has ever reacted to those, he's been quite indifferent about it in fact. Still, the heat of a blush creeps up my cheeks. I deny already, despite wanting it to happen so badly myself.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
I do my best to summon a straight face, but before her good cheer, it easily falters.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
It's more the latter currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
It's infectious in a way. No sooner I found myself enjoying our chat more than I've imagined myself to. Although her attention briefly wavers at one point, she remains a good companion. Even more once I've mentioned who my parents are. Her face quickly lights up and fondness graces her face, despite the meeting from several years ago being a short one. But of course, there are some things we really can't avoid talking about. After all, it's one of the few things I remember her asking me, the moment she spotted little Becky in the room. Do you have a boyfriend? In retrospect, it's an odd thing to talk about as children, when there are loads we could have started with.
Yes, oh, I remember you! You were the cutest little thing with glasses! And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A.
I believe I still have the clothes she gave me, chosen, also I could impress him. And even back then, Ashton has always been denser than a rock. And that one attempt to get him to notice backfired spectacularly. Sure, he's keen, he's a detective for heaven's sake, but feelings, more often than not, escapes him.
What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
Which makes the whole talk all the more embarrassing. And the more names she lists off, the more my discomfort grows until my smile turns into a grimace. What will she think of me? Here she is, married to a man she most probably loves at that. Whilst I'm still stuck in the same place, yearning for the same person.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone with an earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
She says that, but for a short moment, a hint of piety flickers in her eyes. I take that as a chance to change the subject before anything more can be said over the matter. I haven't even figured out how I should feel about the things Luke told me. Now I'm getting dragged into a similar discussion.
This is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Though to be frank, I doubt she'll be so willing to pass this up. The topic has already captured her attention.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it.
Hypocrisy, that's what this is. How dare I preach about something when it's exactly what I've been doing? And then, I go and act as if I'm entitled to any of it. That by virtue of us growing up together, he must return whatever I feel for him. That he's not allowed to look at another, because I'm the one who has stayed by his side the longest. When in the first place, Ashton has always been his own person. This is something I cannot force on him. I could only hold on to those. Take care of it until the time comes I can confess to him. See? She's finally realizing that she shouldn't be expecting him to make the first move, because chances are that he's mostly been just oblivious to it all himself. Finally getting it through her head. Great, if he recuperates, but if he can't, if he won't, selfish. I've been too selfish. How laughable that Luke's words still strike true up until now.
But what do I know?
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about.
At one point, maybe I would have easily agreed to that. However, the past weeks have also been changes in the way I view things. As nice as these things sound, it turns out whatever I previously know may not even be true for other people, or for myself. It is sobering and almost funny how things I might have said with much certainty before now has doubts muddying each of them. But there will be a time to mull about these later, because when a hush suddenly descends in the room, a whole different issue rears. Especially when fucking Luke, strides into the now quiet ballroom, fashionably late, and oozing with the same pompous mien he always carries around with him.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party? I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the Wright Mansion.
Before long, Hannah leaves my side to join her, and it doesn't take a genius to piece it all together.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are our ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.
His attitude, the manner he carries himself around people, his familiarity with that part of the city. A fucking course. Should have known. Although I'm partly at fault here, tabloids and the gossip columns have never been really my thing. I should have also expected that wherever Luke fucking Wright is, some sort of drama will sure follow. He seems the kind of person who revels in it, figures it'll find him on its own, even when he's not asking for it. It happens amidst a round of applause and hoots. The people lagging behind the crowd they've gathered does not catch on, until the cheer turns into several scandalized gasps.
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility. God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman! Security! Yo, Hans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby? Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
The commotion doesn't go further, despite the drunk woman appearing like she has plenty more venom to spill. In a little while, security shows up, escorting her out. Apparently, she's the chief inspector's wife too. As if this whole thing can't get any more fucked up than it already is. What a mess. But the damage has been done, and beyond the repercussions this will bring, I'm more worried about Hannah. Maybe Luke too, in part. I've seen the man that hides behind his self-importance, and it is someone who cares for the person he stands beside him. No matter how questionable that is now. After all, no anger is worse than that of a scored woman. And Hannah, well, as refined and well-mannered she is in front of their guests, I'm sure if she'll be all too willing to tolerate this. Her party, her home, her husband, and that woman has just dared to walk over it. It's in her eyes when she turns to her, the face of someone who demands she be given the same respect she has long deserved.
You are no longer welcome in any of our states, our properties, and our businesses. And we will no longer patronize yours. Now, escort the girl and make sure she isn't standing even an inch within our grounds.
Hannah's outrage is a strange sight to witness, after those smiles and the grace she has carried herself through the entirety of the party. So this is like one of the choices I made when I was playing as Hannah, and I decided to fight for the marriage. Like, instead of like turning down to Luke, saying like, wait, is this true? Like, or not, like getting herself involved, she decided to, or at least I decided for her to step up and try to fight for their marriage. This is why she's being like this, and now this is like the POV of different people's reactions to her being like that. Like this, her eyes burning bright with fury. I don't doubt she can do so much more, and ruin the scandalous woman if need be. Shaming her is already an act of mercy, generous enough coming from her.
You won't show your face to me ever again if you know what is good for you, Rochelle. Take her away.
No one protests, not even the subject of her ear as she is forcibly dragged out. Even the smile on Luke's face wavers when she eventually turns to him and pulls him out of the room for a talk of their own. For a brief moment, there is a concerted effort between those left in the hall. A short second of tense silence while struggle to figure out what to do with themselves. But true to the kind of talk these situations attract, it doesn't last too long. Soon chatter explodes throughout the whole ballroom. Worried murmurs, clicking of tongues, and inappropriate gossip filters through the thick tension in the room. Most of them haven't even left the premises and they're already talking about it. Tomorrow it'll be on the news for sure, in every local broadsheet and tabloid in Luxbourne. Anna, my man, yeah, like she is giving him a pep talk right now behind those closed doors. I couldn't care less about any of it. Simply thinking about this already gives me a headache. When the shock has faded, I just feel bone-tired. I've accomplished nothing of what I've come here for, and apparently Ashton has disappeared sometime during the commotion. I'm not sure what pisses me off more. That he ignored me the whole evening and might have just left without saying anything, or knowing he obviously has some other motive for being here. Can't he at least trust his own friends for that?
He didn't have to hide it from me.
The only relief to be had in this, perhaps, is Zachary's comforting smile when he approaches. He appears as disturbed when he stands beside me, fiddling with the buttons on his camera, even though the device is off.
Eventful night, huh?
You can say that again. It was awful.
He pauses for a moment, stares at me intently. Then he laughs, a tired one but filled with humor, in spite of we've witnessed.
Let me guess. Ashton.
Oh, what makes you think he's my problem?
Just a hunch. And, it's all in your face, actually.
Why does he have to? I don't understand that man anymore.
Like I always say, you should just...
Oh, you can bet your ass we're going to have a very long talk. I'm not letting him off easy this time.
I'm sure he has a good reason. He won't say it, but he likes being around us. Heck, we're probably the only people he likes. He ain't gonna ruin that for something stupid. He can be dense, but he ain't dumb.
But that's exactly what I've been telling people, isn't it?
We'll see about that. I just want to go home. Are you done here?
Nah, sorry. I can't until the party ends.
It's all right. I'll just take a cab or something. I'll see you later, Zachary.
Before removing myself from the room, I lay a comforting hand on his arm. He'll need it among these people. And then I am gone, more than ready to end this disastrous night as early as possible. As it turns out, the night isn't done with me yet. Because no sooner has the porter closed the door behind me, I find myself standing alone in the foyer with one Luke Wright. No sign of his wife. Just him and the agitated clicks his shoes make while he treads around the empty room. Away from the media's prying eyes and their guests' judging stares, it's easy to glean how much the scandal has him shaken. Not to the point where he has utterly lost his composure, he appears to have mastered himself enough not to, but an ample opening in there for a nervous edge to show on the lines of his shoulders.
What do you know?
The man is not as tough as he makes himself to be. Sure, I've seen this before, briefly in that 1 second in the hallway at school. It's a strange matter, however, to witness this out in the open. Behind closed doors, this is the real Wright. Though maybe that's because he hasn't noticed my presence yet, busy as he is with his thinking. If he's aware, I doubt he'll be acting like this. His pride is one thing he will always wear with him. Even now, when I place a gentle hand on his shoulders, and he whirls around to face me. There's a second long moment of anger flashing across his features before it dissolves into confusion. He tucks it away as quickly as he can, but it does nothing to change the impression I've built of the man in my head.
Daisy, must you be everywhere?
We've only met 3 times, Luke. Quit the dramatics. Besides, shouldn't you be aware of who gets invited to your party?
If I was, there wouldn't be any of that scene tonight. That munter wouldn't even get an inch within this property. I'd ban her off Luxborn if I could.
He probably pawns everything off to their servants and Hannah. Pompous, elitist douche.
Did you just come out here to lecture me about it? Because, Daisy, I've had enough of it for one night. I don't need to hear another one.
You are a very unpleasant man.
So I've been told. Will that be all? If so, I suggest you go back and join every bloody goss in that room.
Not everything. As unpleasant and frustrating talking with this man is, he deserves the benefit of the doubt at least. The questions and criticisms are lacking, of course. But right this instant, there's only one that comes to mind. Is it true you should be with your wife? If I say is it true, I'm just gonna start believing the rumors that he actually cheated on Hannah. But we already established that that is not true, and she is pregnant with his kid, so I think I should just give him a little bit of a confidence boost.
You know, brooding over here isn't going to fix this mess.
Again with the lecture.
Will you stop calling it that?
Very well, what should we call this then? A heart-to-heart? Please don't, I might puke. And just so you know, I don't want to talk about feelings. Ever.
This isn't one, all right? It's just a friendly concern. Bloody hell, can't you just take it for what it is?
He pauses at that. Suddenly he doesn't know what to do with his hands, and in the end he simply stuffs them back to his pockets and sulks. There probably aren't many people who tell him that. He's a difficult man to get along with, after all. I honestly won't give him a second of my time if I didn't see a different side of him. Dealing with him requires more than patience. When the awkwardness passes, mostly coming from him, he merely glances away. But the tightness in his shoulders has eased, and when he speaks again, despite his rather rude choice of words, none has any venom in it.
Friendly concern, right. While we're at it, I should mention that Hana used to call that Viper friend. Now I think she might want to strangle the Munta if she sees her again. After she's done with me, of course.
I doubt she's going to do anything like that.
What do you even know about this?
Oh, I know enough. You may look like a sleazy douche, and you still are, by the way.
It's almost comical how fast his face shifts from mild disdain to offended, but I don't let it distract me. These things need to be said, and he needs to hear them, even though they're coming from some meddling stranger.
But you have your few good moments. I might even say that you're a decent person, if I'm in the mood. Now go. If you really love her, you've got to try and fix this yourself.
Maybe tomorrow.
Luke!
Daisy, did you see her earlier? Was that the face of a wife who wants to have a chat with her cheating husband?
Well, at least you admitted you did something wrong. Good for you. How about a star? Would you like a star to go with that good deed?
Don't get used to it. Do you realize how awkward this is?
Oh, I do.
Before I've even thought about what to say, I've known there can only be two ways this can go. All things considered, it isn't as bad as I've assumed. However, there are still some things my brand of encouragement can't fix. His marital problems first and foremost, his attitude follows right after. Concerns aside, I can't help with those. Those are things only he can fix, and it's definitely not by standing around here bantering.
Don't worry, I was just about to leave. Feel free to continue with your brooding once I'm gone. I'm not going to tell anyone. Cross my heart.
You think this is funny, Daisy?
Laughter is the only response I give him. With a slight wave of my hand, I end it right there and walk away. Although I can't resist the urge to glance back before I leave, if only to have one last look at the man he really is. But the instant I turn my gaze on him, I see it. Oh. Looming, hovering over his shoulders, drawn to him like a moth to a flame. Like the first time I've stepped inside this place in search of Isabella. He was there too, wasn't he? That man, along with his wife and another person. Miss McCullough? And that shadow. No. A woman now. Her, no longer a dark blue. Blur. Terror rushes through every vein in my body. A crippling sensation gripping every part of me, while she stares at me with a glare filled with nothing but hate and venom. It's like staring at the eyes of a woman unknowingly robbed of something precious. I try to say something. A warning. But before I can gather my wits and voice it out, someone shuts the door behind me. As if to keep outsiders away from the secrets this mansion possesses. The brush of fresh air against my cheeks does little to dampen the chill in my bones. By now, the sensation that fear and disquiet it leaves whenever I see her is familiar enough for me. Already it has made a home in my nerves. I don't even notice my trembling hands until I cross my arms across my chest. The cold from the tips of my fingers seeps through the thick material of my shirt. Neither of it helps bring together some semblance of coherent thought in my head. But I know I should.
Someone has to tell that douche.
I start walking back before fear can cripple me again. It's not wise. Returning, that is, especially after what happened. But Hannah's still an old friend, and Luke doesn't deserve whatever misfortune that letter might bring. Can't just leave those two in there. Isabella is right. She's real, and there's something she wants from everyone who has read that.
Becca, where'd you go off to?
If you're done here, let's go. I'll get you back to the city.
My mistake. The second his voice cuts through the crisp night air, is that I've allowed my annoyance get the better of me. Fuming, purpose forgotten, I whirl around and march towards him. One accusation after another piles up at the tip of my tongue, ready to be hurled at any moment. There's no hesitation holding me back when I fling it at him. That straight face he keeps as I do, so it doesn't help temper my anger either. It only makes me want to slap more sense into him.
Shouldn't I be the one asking you that?
Becca, I've been waiting here the whole time. I told you I hate parties like...
And before that, where have you been the entire evening?
Right then and there, I might have forgiven him, if he's shown some ounce of remorse for leaving me like that. Maybe he could have looked away, given me a sign that my assumptions might be right. He doesn't even need to put them into words. A single gesture of confirmation is all I need. Rather, what I get is the same impassive look. He does whatever he can't disclose anything. He does that whenever he's lying. In the face of it, amidst the thick tension, a frustrated huff is the only thing I can summon.
Be that way. Fine. Suit yourself.
No more words. After everything I've seen and heard tonight, I'm already too exhausted for those. So without speaking any further, I simply walk past him and stop over his car. Although before I can pull open the door, he calls out, one hand outstretched, a gentle weight on my shoulders.
Wait, Becca.
He pauses, his brows furrowing and lips curving into a slight frown. I can almost see the gears turning in his head, while he tries to piece together everything he wants to say. Before, perhaps, I might have waited patiently for those. He's not a man fond of using words to express himself. More often than not, any gesture of honesty will only come out of blunt and coarse when forced. But today, for one reason or another, I simply can't summon that forbearance.
Ashton, if you're just going to waste my time again...
Becca, listen. I don't know how else...
That much is obvious. Why don't you just take the whole bloody night? Go on. I can wait until next year. Better yet, why don't you just keep it all to yourself like you always do? It's not like...
Rebecca, will you hear me out first?
The silence I can offer him, but whatever I'll believe what he is about to say is up for debate. A very long debate.
I honestly don't know how else to put this. I'm aware your parents have some kind of history with Hana Wright, and somehow you're friends with her. But you should stay away from these people for now, especially the husband.
Oh.
Who? Luke?
Just an FYI, I am 100% on positive note with Luke. And Ashton now pulls this on me saying, yeah, stay away from him. His expression deepens into a scowl at my mention of the name, but whatever opinion he has, he doesn't immediately voice. Still, something about him has greatly displeased him, evident in the stiff note his tone assumes.
Yeah, he's bad news.
It's my turn to frown this time. What does he mean by that? What does he have to do with this? Care to explain your reasons? I mean, they're both kind of the same.
Care to explain your reasons?
I've not meant for it to sound as harsh as it does, but anger and frustration have never been a good match in me, particularly in nights like this. Not surprising when Ashton jerks back as if I've struck him. For a fleeting moment, something akin to hurt darts across his features, his eyes narrowing and hands closing in tightly into a fist at his sides. Then swiftly he again glances away and shifts his focus on the line of trees nearby, like an answer can be gleaned from the dark expanse.
I'm really sorry, Becca.
What is it for? For the party? The vague answers he continues to give? Does it include all those times before this, the year's worth of it? I don't doubt its sincerity. However, at the moment, the forgiveness he's asking isn't something I'm all too willing to hand, furious as I am. It's frankly I wonder how I can keep myself from raising my voice at him.
We'll talk about this tomorrow, and you better have a proper answer for me by then.
There's a brief hesitation before I step away, a short moment of wanting to say more, of waiting if he has anything to add. He's only silent, eyes still trained at a distance. It is the last glimpse I see of him before I climb inside his car. If the door slams closed with the same force as the anger I'm holding, its sound merely vanishes into the night, unnoticed. He follows soon after, and shortly when we're on our way back to the city. Yet, even with city's bright lights welcoming us, the dense, somber air from the mansion still lingers. The moon is almost at its highest by the time we reach Salemwell. Even after our respective heads have cooled off, the atmosphere within the car remains rifled with unspoken tension. This isn't a problem so easily fixed with a few handshakes. Quite frankly, I don't know what will. Ashton himself has no idea what to do when he alights and dawdles awkwardly in the middle of the car park, unsure. It almost seems like he's having an internal debate, whether he should say goodbye or mutter another apology. I could have driven him away, purely out of spite, the second I've gotten off. Still, old habits die hard. It's late, and Ashton's flat is on the other side of the city. Irritation might still rear its head every time I look at him right now, but I'm not too cruel to put him up on another long drive. Especially when he still appears as if he hasn't gotten any rest.
You can borrow the couch.
I throw the keys to my flat his way before a protest forms on his lips. Although he catches it with ease, he eyes it with a wary expression and shoots a puzzled glance my way.
You haven't been forgiven. We're still going to have that talk, believe me. But I'm not about to send you out on another drive looking like that. It's late. Go get some rest.
We're setting aside a lot of loose ends like this, but he appears to have accepted that reason, at least in the meantime. He does give me another questioning glance when I shove past him, pulling my mobile in the process.
Where are you going? I thought...
You go ahead upstairs. I need to contact Professor Andrew.
Andrew? Why would you... Oh, no. Please. Is this that thing Isabella said this morning? Again? I already gave her my word, Becca. I'll look into this BRC crap. No need to drag the old guy into it.
Of course he's still skeptical. It makes one wonder if he's even seeing anything at all. Figures this curse will stay away from the scuffer. But this is another loose end tonight, and I can't just leave alone, Ashton's beliefs notwithstanding. It just so happens that it's one I can delve into using means other than taking a look at the mansion itself.
Ashton, do you really think I still give a shite after that stunt you pulled tonight?
No, but this is...
I've spent so many years with him to know this is about to turn into another argument. Before he can finish it, I cut him off with a firm raise of my hand.
Look, I don't care. There are weird things happening around here. And yes, it's Isabella's brand of weird. Ghostly voices, strange sounds, and a bloody woman sitting at the back of my car. You don't have to believe me. And I no longer have the patience to convince you, so just leave me be, Ashton.
He doesn't push it, growing quiet instead, although I know he has a whole case of it prepared in his head. But there's a reluctant shift in his movement when he steps away from our conversation. Short of climbing the stairs, he stops, turns to face me with an expression almost too... conflicted?
Are you really sure?
What?
That there was something? That you've been, seeing things?
Yes, I'm very, very certain. Now go! And you better not break anything in there. The last time I let you stay over, it was that statuette Belle gave me. You haven't even replaced that one.
The last of my reprimand goes both unheard and unanswered as he disappears behind the stairs. If things aren't as strained, he might have a quip or two about that, followed by a light banter. Instead, for a long moment, I am left staring at after him. There's something in the way he asked it that nags. Coupled with his expression, the whole exchange just feels unsettling. One that doesn't fade even as I gather my thoughts and shift my focus on another, even as I dial Professor Andrew's number. And that is when it clicks. During the long wait for the professor, one stray thought emerges from the unease. Ashton has not intended for his question to be a jibby. It's concern. For what, though? For my well-being? The letter's curse? The woman I mentioned? The answers for those will have to wait, however. It's a pain to have to talk about supernatural with a very logical guy. Yeah, it's very difficult. Finally, the call connects and Professor Andrew's voice echoes from the receiver.
Professor Andrew?
Rebecca? It's late. What can I do for you?
I know, I'm sorry, but this is a bit urgent.
After all, this is a more pressing matter. Our lives might be at stake and we're still in the dark.
Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you to do me a favor. ... Sunday.
Professor Andrew Clark has agreed to meet me 2 days later, in front of Luxbourne Public Library. He has other commitments, but being a longtime family friend has its perks. I have my parents' connections thanks to that. Of course, I'm not the sort to impose on him often, but the situation is, well, it's not entirely bad, although it does require calling in a few favors from friends like him. Without his signature, I won't be able to gain access to the library's restricted section. If I want to get more in-depth information on the Ermengarde mansion, that is, not simply what they choose to show to the general public. Hi, Pansy. It's good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. How was your morning or your afternoon? I keep forgetting the time zones. I'm guessing it's afternoon right now for you. How's the good Sunday treating you? 4:20. Oh, it's way past afternoon. Gulp. Okay, so note to myself. It's always like 6 hours of a difference. 6-7 hours. We did family Christmas and it went well. Oh, I'm glad. Did you guys do like setting up decorations and stuff, or was it like a family dinner? What's your opinion on Lithuanian streamers? What brought that on, Sabu? It's 4:20 a.m. for you, Sky? Oh my god, living in a 12-hour simulation. That's insane. More like a family lunch? Ah, I see. Well, I hope it was pleasant and it was enjoyable. Usually I hear from people that family gatherings tend to be very awkward, especially when you're not very on good terms with like one of the family members. All I did for myself was just setting up the decorations and getting ready for this festivity of Christmas. Definitely rank them over the Germans? Ouch. Ouch. Shots fired. That must hurt. I'm sorry, Sabo. Sorry. As much as I hate to admit it, there's always something people censor, and whenever it is, I won't ever find it in the general section. It has to be what they're keeping here, beyond the public eye. The thought of that alone makes me antsy. Thankfully, I don't have to brood over it. The wait for the professor doesn't last long. He never did enjoy making people wait. Likewise, he dislikes people who are tardy. Still my favorite German, or at least top 3. See, it's a good thing to not have a favorite, because there are a lot of, well, at least furry Germans that I know. German streamers that are actually on the high list on its own. Wow, I'm dropping fast. First it was the favorite, then it's like, maybe a 2 or 3, or 1. Monka W. Also, sorry for the ads, they're currently ads, and apologies that you're currently all in the ads for those that are not subbed. But I am going to take like a quick moment during the ad break to get a sip of water, because I am reading a little bit non-stop, not having any general breaks. There really are a lot of German furs though, aren't there? Well, from what I had a pleasure of seeing, I've met quite a few. A good number, in fact. Some that I tend to notice or like come across, I don't even realize they're German first until they tell me, oh, I'm from Germany. And I'm like, what is it with me running into so many furries that are from Germany? I'm like a magnet to those German furries. I'm not like, no, I mean, technically no complaints there. They're quite, charming in their own way, and people say that French people is where the romance is at. I think Germans are kinky in their image. True. Actually true. Every German so far that I've known, like they've been omega kinky. Like Savu here, for example. Like can you imagine the first thing I heard from him when I got to know his channel? Thank you for the follow. And said something about the lines of, I hope you enjoy your stay on your knees, or something like that. Like, that was the first hint of, like, kinkiness that I witnessed from him. That's the first response I get from him. And he says, oh, get on your knees. And I'm like, oh, we're already getting there already? Like, this fast? Not even, hello, my name is, how are you? Like, we're already getting down to business? Yes, he is also German. Yeah, that sounds like Sabu. Yep. Totally in his natural habitat. They're just exposing for what it is, you know? He arrives 5 minutes after I do, greeting me with that kind of smile and casual wave of his hand. Whoops, I just forgot. We're still in the ad breaks. Whoops. I just said I'm gonna take a slight break while the ad breaks are at, and I'm already continuing. They always have guns out. Some do. Some do. Not all of them.
I do need to stretch though. My back is killing me a little bit.
And my...
Hold on.
Alright, ad breaks are over. We can continue reading now. He arrives 5 minutes later after I do, greeting me with that kind of smile and casual wave of his hand. I haven't seen him in so long, but it appears he hasn't changed much. His familiar presence alone is enough for a fond smile to spread across my face.
Professor Andrew.
Rebecca, didn't I say long ago you can drop the professor?
You know I can't possibly do that. Even if I can. It feels disrespectful to call you by your name alone.
Not just guns?
True.
Both you and Ashton never listen to this old man. Kids these days.
All right. But just for today, since you're doing me a huge favor, Andrew.
I guess you simply can't have it all, even at this old age. But pleasantries aren't what we're here for, yes? You mentioned you needed a permit.
Oh fuck, ads are starting right now. I'm such a dumbass. They were... Okay, oh my god. The warning was that the ads are about to start, not that the ads are currently going. The ads are going right now. Ugh. I hate myself so much. Oh, I guess we're taking a longer break. Jesus. Flexes in turbo. Lucky you. I thankfully don't get any ads anymore because of ad block. Wink wink. It used to not work before, but now it's gone back to full mode and no ads. But I still tend to sometimes sub to people so that at least I'm giving the impression that I am not watching the ads. Or if there are ad breaks, I just pretend that I watch them. I don't know, it's just a habit. Let me check something. All the ads are going. They're going for another minute or so. We can take a breather ourselves. Just chill for a little bit. Yap what goes on with our days. I sometimes have the habit of listening to the types of videos where it's just the sound of not the commotion, but like the public, like what we're currently hearing right now, like as we're walking, as the main cast are currently like in the city, and we can hear like the sound voice or the vehicles outside. Usually most of the time it's like noisy when it's in real life if you like live in the big ass city. But for me, sometimes it's like a slight comfort, like you don't really think about anything and you just enjoy the silence. It's really nice. Ads are over. We can continue reading.
Yes, sir, if that's okay with you.
More than fine. Anything in pursuit of knowledge, as they say.
He hands me the permit without further prompting. And just like he promised, he's also written a recommendation after his signature. This is more than enough to get me into those files. Is it my white noise? Yeah, kind of. I am a huge fan of ASMR in particular, like with certain things, but when it comes to white noise, this one is definitely one of those. At least when I want to just get it in the feels of like me going outside, for example, and taking a walk, not thinking about anything. Especially when it's like in the middle, like it's very dark outside and I can't do that at the given moment, but at least I can be imaginative in some way. It helps with my daydreaming, you know? And there are other sounds that I listen to, for example, just a simple flowy melody. When it comes, for example, to studying, I listen to that so I can get my focus on and I don't get distracted as much. Or when I go to bed, I listen to some ASMR streamers and just go about my night. Anything to calm the mind down. ASMR, my beloved, yes. And speaking of which, I want to in the future have like a separate channel specifically dedicated for ASMR. But for that to happen, I need to have my own place so that I have no distractions, no unnecessary sound in the background, and just have a good attempt, like attempting to do some form of ASMR. I think it would be very nice. 'Cause I've been listening to it for like so many years now that I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I kind of want to give it a shot. Yeah, sometimes I want to do ASMR and then I remember my dork barks at everything. See, yeah, the only downside of it all, attempting to do ASMR, is making sure that there are no unnecessary noises, aka animals, preferably. But I've noticed most ASMR artists have a habit of being able to, like, somehow control that. Like, I guess their pets aren't as feisty and, like, easily bark as much. But for me right now, since I don't have any animals anymore, I am more quiet in the house. Not enough to currently do ASMR in the current state. One of mine is a campfire sound. Oh, that is also a good one. Just a wood burning and having those sounds. It's very comforting, especially like when you sit it near a fireplace. It's not only the sight and the warmth that it provides, but it's also the sounds. The sounds of fire burning and those little sparkly flashes. The sound of them, it's very comforting. I mutter a small thanks before slipping into my pocket. Although when I look back up, his brows are furrowed with a very face of curiosity. Not surprising, considering how vague I've been during our little talk over the phone. Right then and there, I've decided to tell him if he ever asks. Maybe not all of it, but stuff he needs to know. It's the least I can do to thank him. As expected, true to his inquisitive nature, he asks.
If you don't mind, though, I know you've always been an eager learner, but may I know what in the restricted section that piqued your curiosity?
It's the Amengard mansion, sir.
He's quick to raise an eyebrow at that, and for a while I fear he'll take the slip of paper back. Is there something in what I said?
The ones they have out in the general isn't enough?
I'm, hoping for a more in-depth read, sir. More about the history and the people who once lived there. The general section doesn't have anything much on that.
Oh, I see. Well, you certainly aren't the first one to be enamored with that place. It doesn't shock me. The architecture is admirable, and the urban legends are something to talk about.
I think enamored might be a little too much to describe our interest in it. But I have to agree. The mansion is beautiful, even with the renovations. They kept the stained glass windows, too. They are magnificent.
Oh, you've seen it.
I was there for a few hours to attend a housewarming party. The invitation was for my parents, but they couldn't make it. My mum used to work as a private tutor for the Evans. Hannah Wright?
Ah, I know of her. Her husband, too. Who doesn't? Luxborn's most popular couple.
Something falls behind his eyes, the warmth in them gone completely. Like he's reliving a painful distant memory and seeing it play right in front of him. It disappears almost as soon as it surfaces, but that look has unsettling something in me.
Is something the matter?
Nothing much. But you know, you're already like a daughter to me. So if you could, do be careful with the friends you make.
Is this about the Wrights, sir?
Just a friendly advice from an old man. Don't think much about it. Anyway, I have to leave now. Can't miss my weekly serving of bear claws. Say hi to your parents at the detective inspector for me, will you? I wish you luck with all that research.
I will. Thanks for this, Andrew.
Andrew gives my shoulder a tight squeeze. Did I just say a tight squeeze? That would be so wrong. My shoulder a light squeeze. The gesture a younger me has always appreciated, and quickly crosses the street after. I watch him until he disappears behind the door to a cafe, until the doubts swimming inside my head finds a moment to rest. Whatever his business is with the rights isn't anything I should concern myself about, but somehow in the grand scheme of things now, all of it feels oddly irrelevant. The how, though, I've yet to figure out, and I'm hoping the library will give me the answers I want this time. On a gloomy Sunday morning, the library is especially empty. The second floor in particular. I've always wondered this place to be a sanctuary, a respite away from the hubbub of the city. As a child, I grew up reading books here, spending hours here to no end, poring over the pages, living out fantasies in my head until my parents called me home. Now it feels nothing like it. The silence is smothering, suffocating. Even with how clean they've kept the microfiche room, though the entire small of it lacks a speck of dust or clutter, breathing as is a struggle for air. Not far into my stay, I begin to long for the noise outside, and perhaps as a way to calm this unease, I start to hum a tune. Imagine that. Why of all things it has to be that silly nursery rhyme? I'm not an inkling. You are indeed say tight squeeze. My brain. It does its job, however. It fills the lull with something far less awkward, far less deafening, and that is enough for a distraction. I have business here. No time for silly daydreams, only important work to attend to. Even if there is a possibility of it being fruitless by some means, it feels like I have to do it. If not for me, then for the people who have been affected by this... What do we even call this? A haunting? A Halloween prank gone wrong? A curse? If Isabella were here, what would she say? Will she panic? Will she be angry I only listen to her now? It all stems from that one moment in the movie house, doesn't it? We could have avoided this had we only taken her warnings to heart. One stupid mistake is all it took to send our normal lives on a downward spiral. Frankly, I'm no longer sure if I'm angry at myself for it, or at the universe for throwing us into this mess. But we can only make do of what little we have, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Going here might not be the right decision, but it's a start.
A good start.
It doesn't take much for me to find what I need. A microfiche of old newspapers, long kept in special storage cabinets at the far end of the restricted section. The year is 1620s and beyond. Before the city of Luxport even exists in the records, when the mansion has just been built, and Aslam is nothing more but a small, sleepy hamlet near a river. A lot of pieces are missing. Days. Sometimes several consecutive weeks without any records remaining. Often it goes on for years. Troublesome, but as it is, I'm lucky enough to find anything at all considering how far I'm looking back. Can't be picky now. Can't waste time mulling over what record keepers of the old could have done to make this a breeze for me.
I can still work with this.
The faint whir of the microfiche machine keeps me company as I go over each slide, each image, hoping for something that goes beyond what the local lore knows. There are snippets, little mentions of the family that once settled in the house here and there. The usual singing of praises for the couple who helped brought up what was once a tiny settlement into a bustling town. Nothing substantial, nothing I didn't know before. It continues on like this for a good while, until I come by the years after their deaths. The people of Anslav might have loved Lord William and Lady Elizabeth Ermengarde, mourning their passing, and held them in high esteem in the years after. But it was their daughter that was remembered fondly by the townspeople. If her parents built this town, Lady Charlotte was the one who made it prosper. Remarkable, considering it was a period of recovery from a bout of plague that killed half the town's population, including her parents. What's surprising, though, apparently her time also marked more than superficial changes to the place. Hair puts a stop to local slave trade. She moved things, changed laws, altered old customs and traditions. If they were done on a woman's whimsy, it doesn't say, but she seems capable enough for far more than that. The gist of it is, the town she rebuilt, it's what eventually grew to become Luxborn City, while the nearby Anselm village remained as it was, a relic of the old. A frown swiftly forms in my face.
So, why is there a need to hide this?
One by one, I try to recall every lesson I've gone through, every book, paper, and journal I've read. None of those ever mentioned this. It's always the lord and the lady of the house, their endearing child, always an afterthought to those anecdotes, the one who always took her life in the end. Never someone who restored a town from the brink of collapse or brought new ideas to it. Is it because she's a woman?
That pisses me off.
Granted, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Not all aspects of her can be considered admirable. But this is history. Some parts are bound to naturally delve into unpleasant territory, whether I like it or not. Witch hunts, for example, became common near the end of her life. Which could have been completely unremarkable and might have gone to become a mere footnote in history if it didn't involve Lady Charlotte and the very slave she slaved. Hello, Symphilis. I hope your stream was well in streaming League. It caused quite a stir, enough to leave almost a week's worth of clippings. The girl was eventually burned, condemned by an entire town, at the word of Lady Charlotte alone. But this doesn't really have anything to do with the Skurs, does it? Unless that woman following us and this slave are the same person. Dun dun dun. A tale of revenge? How cliché. However, with a lack of accurate photographs, it's impossible to tell. Maybe if I squint, the illustration would start resembling her? But in my field, it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. I'll be the laughing stock of the community.
This isn't going anywhere.
Mentally exhausted, I take a careful step away from the curse screen, pressing a palm to my tired eyes.
Hugo, you cute bean. Yeah, stream was absolute bonkers and nothing worked as intended, but we all had lots of fun. XD, how is Strive? Less than 3 hours, my favorite blue tiger doing?
Thank you for the biddies, Symphilis. I'm doing alright. The stream is going pleasantly well. I think we're right nearing the end of the fifth. No, we're nearing the end of the 5th chapter of this visual novel, and it's gonna be grand. We're learning a lot of things about the lore of what is causing the curse that is upon us all. And as for the game as well, there's one thing that always stuck into my mind whenever I have bad days in League of Legends, is that I often tell myself that tomorrow is going to be a better day. If it didn't go well today, it's going to go well tomorrow. And at least you had fun, so there's at it. It's not always about the wins, it's also about how much fun you had. But thank you again for the BD, much love. The lack of ample light in this area doesn't help. A headache already threatens to form at the back of my head, yet I'm nowhere near figuring things out. This is simply too much to take it in all at once.
I should have asked for someone's help.
Now I'm at dead end. I start gathering everything around me and placing them back in their respective envelopes for storage. The motion's no longer new after volunteering here a number of times. I didn't make much mess anyway, considering the lack of materials available to begin with. I'll have to look somewhere else. The where remains unknown, though. But just as I was about to slip the last of the slides in, something catches my attention. Oh, I don't care about the wins, to be honest. I care more about having fun, but getting stomped to dust 4 games in a row just isn't fun, though. But yeah, we'll get another one. Yeah. I know, even if it's not about winning or losing, if you're not playing to the best of your abilities and you get completely run over by the enemy consistently, it does get over. It does get over in your head at some point. It's just nothing you can do about it. At that point, you kind of just like have to accept that, oh, well, it is what it is. I'll try again and again tomorrow. It won't be as sucky. It's fine. Just a bad day for League. My hand pauses, the microfiche halfway through its protective sleeve. This is one of the few I've set aside without taking a careful look at. It seems like a gossip column at first glance, but upon closer look, I slide it back to the reader, gently turning the dials in search of the page. It takes some time, but once the image becomes clear, they must have had this drawing commissioned for this announcement. I don't doubt it. The details are far more intricate, their likeness likely closer to how they might have appeared at the time. They're both recognizable this way, closer to those painting of scenes in the mansion. However, it's the man standing beside her, Edward Godfrey, according to the article, that caught my attention previously. Her first cousin and eventually her fiancé. Maybe it's the posture, the manner in which he holds himself. Or maybe it's the shape of his eyes, though I can't be too certain about that until I've gotten a better reference. Nevertheless, there is a resemblance. He looks eerily like... My head snaps up, glowering at whoever's running in the floor above. Any day I'd march upstairs and reprimand whoever it is.
This is a library, for heaven's sake.
Now isn't the time. I've gotten what I need. Without wasting another minute, I hit the machine's print button for a copy of the page, while my other hand moves to put everything back into storage. A ragged exhale sweeps from me. Relief, perhaps? Or maybe this is already exhaustion. Regardless, soon I'm closing my eyes as I wait for the printer to finish, if only to starve off a headache building up from everything. Sometime, I've even began humming the same song again for comfort. Despite my doubts about this, despite all the tension in my shoulders, this may be a small find, but at least I can start somewhere. We can start somewhere. There's a way out of this. I know it. The printer sputters to a halt. However, its sound isn't what makes me snap my eyes open. A feeling, a chilly brush of air behind my back. Brief enough for something sickening to suddenly lodge itself in my throat while I take in my surroundings. It's that suffocating sensation again, creeping to every part of me, crawling under my skin, draining me little by little of any strength. From that day in the mansion, from that brief moment at the school. Without delay, I grab the papers and make a quick beeline for the door. Oh shit. My whole body freezes.
What are you doing, Miss Pink?
I hold my breath, not daring to make any noise. For a little while, only the sound of papers crumpling under my grasp fills the room. The excitement from earlier gone instantly, replaced by a cold, seeping dread spreading throughout my limbs. But more than the fear is the anger. It pains me to hear her using my own students' voices against me, and more than once I believed it was really her. She has no right.
Why don't you play with me?
Although she hasn't made a move, if there isn't a wall behind me, I'll probably take a step back. Anything to put a distance between us, no matter how small, as long as I'm out of her reach. But I steel myself, because if I do fall back, turn away from her, I'll be left with no way out. I'm not dying here.
You think you scare me?
Miss Pink, don't be so rude. I'm waiting.
I'm not afraid of you, you spook! This is one Scotswoman. You aren't getting into an early grave without a fight! Come at me!
I expected she'll lunge, prove to me what a monster she is. Instead, all she gives me a smile, twisted and gnarled. It's as if time has crawled to a stop at the sight of it, a split-second decision, and before I know it, my body shifts. Eyes closing in anticipation, hand grabbing whatever solid enough on the nearby table and hurling it at her. I don't bother looking if whatever I threw hit its mark. I run, as fast as my legs can carry me, despite my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. But in this maze of bookshelves with the whole place almost void of people, is there even a place safe enough I can escape to? Head for the door, head upstairs. Well, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that the safest option is go for the door, for the exit. Why would you go upstairs? It's just a dead end. If there's one, it is out of this room, out of this place, as far as anyone can get from her. I can think about the rest of what I can do after I'm outside, when there are other people I can ask for help, when she's not chasing me after lists like this. There's no hesitation in my steps as I race for the restricted section's door, head downstairs, and barrel straight to the library's exit. Towards safety, in a desperate bid for my life, library rules be damned. I can no longer hear her behind me, but I'm not taking any chances. A breath almost escapes me as I near the door. A little more. When I'm out of nowhere, a library cart carries from a blind corner and slams to my sides. My back hits the floor with a hard thud, the impact completely knocking the breath out of me. The copper tang of blood gradually spreads over my tongue as I fight to get my bearings back. I force myself to move, even with the excruciating pain coursing through my limbs. The exit's almost there, if only I can... But there's no moment's respite. The next thing I know, there's heavy weight atop and a gold digit slide around my neck, tight like a vice, pressing, closing in, leaving me grasping for air. Through my blurred vision, I can only make out the hateful gleam, the spite in her eyes as she looms over my body and her grip on my throat grows tighter. Desperation kicks in. My nails dig deep into her wrists as I struggle against her firm grip, trying to pry her fingers away.
Let go! Let me go!
Keep the slider with the green bar by moving the mouse in the arrow's direction. Oh shit. I don't think twice. My limbs are moving on their own before what I did could fully register in my brain and my lungs could recover. Behind me she lets out a cry, sharp, loud, and thunderous against the empty halls of the library. But the fear her wails bring compares nothing to the relief washing over me when I finally make it out. Oh, we made it! My knees buckle as soon as my feet hits the pavement, its surface cold and hard against my skin. I've only been in there for a few hours, about 1 or 2 probably. I don't know anymore, it feels like an eternity all the same. My breathing hasn't slowed down yet, and I don't expect it to after going through that. I probably took the most undignified creature on a Sunday morning right now, out of breath, disheveled, slumped here with a bloodied lip and all. But at present, I simply can't bring myself to care, even when a few passerby start giving me strange looks. Stare at me all you want, I don't give a single shite. I'm alive. I'm safe. This isn't the end yet, but I'm safe. And inside my back is something that could get us out of this mess. Nothing definite yet. I don't want to get my hopes up, but it's still something. If Isabella is here, I'm sure she'll feel the same. She'll even be the first one who put her faith on it. Wherever this will lead us, to a victory on its own. Now all that's left is to find the others, the rest of us trapped in this bloody nightmare. Right on cue, as if an answer to my previous thought, my mobile phone sends out a beep. I pick it up, simply hoping it'll be one of them. Only it's a voicemail that greets me. From Ashton. There's a pang of disappointment, of course, but it brings some reassurance that nothing's happened to at least one of them.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
He ends it right there, the message less than a minute long, curt and gives nothing away. I let it ease my worries regardless and do as he says, because this too is another triumph for us. One less thing to worry about. We kinda did the right choice then, by going into the Ermengarde mansion. There's that squabble. Yeah. Oh! Well, what do you know? What do you know? That was the end of the chapter of Rebecca. Oh my god, that was a long one. It took like, what, 3 streams to fully read through her chapter? And you want to know what the funny part is? Ashton's is twice as longer. Look how many branches there are. That's insane, bro. That's gonna be like what? Like I don't know, 5 streams, 6 streams of just his fucking chapter alone? It's all because the previous choices, no matter how small, they're all impacted with how the story goes. How many days is that? Well, I guess that probably 5, 6. And the crazy part is it all starts at... What's the timeline? Somewhere around the time that after the party. Parties have never been really my thing. Okay, so it's the time when the housewarming party begins, and it should be October 28th. Okay, so it's just this day onwards. From there on out, we're following Ashton, and it's going to be going on for 4 days in this game, but with how many dialogue there's going to be and how many different choices that are going to be intertwined and how it all like affects the route, it's going to be insane. Alright, we're 2 hours and a half in. I don't know if I should like read a little bit more into Ashton's story and then end it here, or end it right now. Because I remember that back when I started this game first, I said that I'm gonna do like, okay, a stream for 1 chapter and then end it there, and then yada yada yada. I didn't expect to finish reading Rebecca's chapter that soon. I could go for like more half an hour again and then end it there, I guess. Because it feels like we're ending too soon. What do you guys think? Should I just end it for now or save it for another time? Or should I read a little bit more of this? It's up to you. I was afraid of that answer. I wouldn't mind lurking more. Keep going for a bit. Alright. I'll read a little bit more for like half an hour or so. And then we're gonna end it there. Parties have never really been my thing. They're always such a hassle and take so much time off my day. Prior plans and commitments cancelled, all for the sake of playing along with others. But I kinda need to go eat now. It's 5 a.m. Yes, please, Sky, go to sleep. It's really late for you. Have a good sleep. Thanks for sticking around. Have good, pleasant dreams. And have a good start of the week. It's actually the week of festivities, so it should damn right be good then.
Welcome everyone.
I hated them even as a child.
Please make yourselves at home.
But Mom often insisted. She'd slick my hair back and put me in one of those stuffy dinner jackets, and if there were any children around, urged me to make friends. This guy never stays up so late for me. I'm pretty sure he does, Sabu. He just pretends to lurk not pretends, but tends to lurk a little bit more when that happens. She'd slick my hair back, put me in one of those stuffy dinner jackets, and if there were any children around, urged me to make friends. Never mind how utterly loud or tedious it was all for the sake of keeping up appearances. To some extent, lies have already surrounded me, long before I've chosen what I wanted to do with my life. Luckily, there were easy ways to tune everything out, and much to my mom's frustration, I always managed to sneak my CD player along. I kept to myself and to my music, had my own little world, and I learned to observe. It's a simple matter of awareness, really, and for someone with keen eyes, a skewed necktie or a simple flick of wrist alone could tell volumes about a person. I still don't like parties, especially ones as big and fancy as the Wright's housewarming. However, when there's actual reason to go to them, I figure they're not too bad.
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
Besides, like it or not, it's all part of the job. I'm here on a mission. one that has the name Luke Wright plastered all over it. You'd think the man would want to remain inconspicuous after his name was linked to several high-profile crimes across Luxborn. Granted, most of it have gone cold over the years, having stagnated without any lead or evidence, but that still doesn't make him any less suspect. Yet here he is throwing a party in his own backyard. Although having observed the man this past year, I'm not even shocked. He craves it, the damn spotlight, constantly yearns for attention like an neglected puppy. It doesn't take a genius to figure out why he's nowhere to be found in his own party. But that's not the problem here. What pisses me off is how far his reach extends, how close he has creeped into the lives of the people I care about. Again, like a stubborn itch you can be rid of. First, Professor Clark. Then there's Isabella. I also spotted Z-Man here a while ago, and now there's also Rebecca. Apparently.
Ashton?
Becca, what are you doing here?
I was invited.
Really? I had no idea you were friends with the host.
That explains things, and makes things difficult all the same. As if getting a contact among the staff to sneak a name into the guest list isn't hard enough. The guy almost ditched me last night and might have placed another setback on my investigation if it wasn't for my generous tip. Here comes Rebecca, another person to mind.
Well, it's my parents, actually. But that's beside the point. What are you doing here? You hate parties.
I still do. I'm just here on behalf of a friend.
Unnecessary lie. I can't bring my own friends into this any further than what they found themselves in, because if Luke Wright so much as harms a hair on either Zach's or Rebecca's heads, there will be hell to pay. Worrying about Isabella's brief dealings with him is stressing in itself already. I doubt he'll attempt anything in front of other people, though. It would tarnish his glorious reputation, and he values appearances more than anything. It doesn't necessarily mean he's incapable of it, more than in fact. But on the off chance he does something, I wouldn't be responsible for my actions.
That's rare. Do you have someone with you then?
Nope, just me. I won't be staying long.
Oh, well, if that's the case, maybe you and I can...
For Zach's and Rebecca's sake, however, I really hope this will simply be another housewarming, even though something tells me it's anything but. Call it a detective's intuition or whatever. When Luke Wright's involved, nothing good has ever come out of it. I can't let my guard down here. Even more so when a familiar car slows to a stop and out comes...
Chief?
My presence here might be odd at best, but I have an excuse, one that this man handed to me himself a year ago, along with a heavy dose of flattery for the newly promoted detective inspector. Can't exactly say the same for my good old boss, can I? Although to see him here chatting it up with Luxborn's rich and famous isn't such a big surprise in itself. No disrespect meant, but the guy is obviously a social climber. What is surprising is the fact that he seems all too eager to mingle with a person of interest's wife. Just what the hell is he doing here?
Ashton, what's...
Sorry, Becca, I need to... There's something I need to check for a bit. I'll talk to you later. Do you have a ride home?
No, I had to take a cab here. My car wouldn't start this afternoon. But what about...
What the shit is going on here?
I told you to get that old thing checked before, didn't I? You can head back with me after this. Anyway, I gotta go. See ya. Be careful, okay?
Hey, be careful! About what
I don't want to draw attention to myself either. At least not until he's given me proper reason to spoil his little party.
Thank you for the invite, Anna. Husband still missing, I see?
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again.
For now, the best I can do is wait and remain inconspicuous, especially with Chief here, whose motives are dubious at best. If it means having to pretend I don't know Zach and Rebecca, or forcing myself to rub elbows with people I barely know, let alone like, then so be it. I can't involve anyone. Wandering is out of the question as well, when there are guards and civvies stationed here and there. Sure, getting past them is something I could do with ease, but I'd rather not right now, when I'm one of the few snooping and roaming about. It'd be best to try and do so once there's a crowd of people. And if their interior designer's drunken claims are to be believed...
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing.
It'd all come down to how well I'll play my cards tonight. With a good hand, this party is going to give me the breakthrough I need to crack Luke right, or something to prove my suspicions wrong, but maybe find out what kind of game my boss is playing at. I've had an inkling before, a few hunches tempered down by how much of a bumbling fool the man appears. But one does not simply deal with the rights and get invited to a party they host without wanting anything from either of the two. Or it's the other way around. So with a last wary glance at the two, I head into the ballroom. I just hope this will not complicate things further. Shit. By the time the party is in full swing, night has fallen, yet there still isn't a Luke Wright in sight. The man can be quite ostentatious, but this? Frankly, I'm impressed. I don't even know how many hors d'oeuvres I've already stuffed my face with. One too many, probably. The servers are already giving me a stink eye every time I saunter over the buffet table. Blame your employer, not me. He's the one who has the guts to show up late. Besides, most of the guests' idle talk is concentrated in this area. Despite standing under the same roof with the very people they're whispering about, some just couldn't resist. I might as well keep an ear out for any useful info.
Is Suarez still fixing that tech problem? Tech problem?
It's been 3 years. Sooner or later, the Blighter will put 2 and 2 together.
He might have already.
If the red tape I've been slammed with this past few months suggests anything, that or someone has been pulling the strings. I wouldn't be shocked. This case would not have gone this long if Scumbag didn't have a mule of some kind in the force.
Shush you, we all know Suarez just wants an out.
I knew he was bad news the day the merger with Evans Incorporated happened. Feh.
Glad I did not have to deal with that. But keep it down, someone might hear. The wife especially.
This kind of negligence has always been an advantage, but sometimes I wish I could be smashed drunk while doing this. Having sharp ears also means you get to hear the most unsavory things. Who cheated on who this week, one person's motive for bashing someone's skull against a wall, or a father's excuse for burning his own daughter up. Yo, that took a turn. That sort of stuff. After a few years it gets tiring, you get desensitized by it. But humans could also be downright awful. Sometimes there simply isn't enough brain bleach in the world. Sadly, the wine is a no-go tonight, and mostly for show. I'm up for another drive later, for one, and I definitely want to be sober in case anything comes up. And something always comes up in assignments like this. A detective inspector dying of cardiac arrest, for example, because I can feel the moment my heart grins to a halt the second I shift my eyes to a corner of the ballroom.
Hana Wright.
Some will say I'm acting a touch bit paranoid, and maybe I am. This is a party, and she's the hostess. It goes to say that she'd take time to mingle with her guests. But Hannah Wright, née avance, isn't without her fair share of acolytes. At least to the public, she doesn't seem like it. Unlike her husband, she's the one with a business sense, not to mention the impressive track record needed to manage a company. Or effectively hide whatever irregularity there might be. She's clean as far as my agents and I have found, but it doesn't rule out a possible involvement with whatever her husband's up to. Hell, Luke Wright came out clean in previous reports, until I bothered to take a deeper look into it. What I've found may not be sufficient to bring anyone to trial yet, but it's enough to nurture suspicion. This may be a bit of an overreaction, but no one lasts long in my line of work by being careless.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Nothing to be worried about then. Also, he thought they were talking about some other dudes and he didn't notice that they were talking about him. Yikes. She's probably even more careful with appearances than her own husband, having grown up with the spotlight focused on her. Yet, even knowing that, the anxiety stays, has been here since the party started. I've brushed it off earlier. Who wouldn't feel edgy, right? I've gone undercover in a party hosted by the very person I've been investigating. That in itself is risky and has plenty of rooms of error. Usually though, the tension passes around the first half hour or so. I've been trained to remain composed in situations like this. However, with each second I spend here, it only grows heavier and seeks to overwhelm. An odd feeling that someone is watching me instead. It has been like this since last week, but I should already be used to this. People would be looking at me no matter how small or big of a blip I am on their radar. That's what they do in these things. but when the feeling of eyes burning into my back lingers longer than necessary, I've been looking around every now and then to catch the culprit. No luck, and despite my efforts to push the sensation as far down as I could, tiny pinpricks continue to sting the back of my head, and the ghost of a cold touch creeps up my limbs, until my gaze switches back to Rebecca and Hannah Wright. She stands there, dark-haired and dirty, sticking out like a sore thumb. So he did see her! Remember when reading with Rebecca and he went upstairs, before going upstairs to go sleep in her room, he was like, "Are you sure you saw something?" Like, that was genuine concern. So I think this was the point where he started to notice her too, and he was starting to have doubts about him being very naive, you know? Thinking that maybe there's some shit behind the curtains. Oh. She stands there, dark-haired and dirty, sticking out like a sore thumb. Even so, no one seems to notice. Although she's looking away from me, her mere existence here disturbs. A sense of tunnel vision binds while I stand stock still and gape at her, like my life depends on making sure she stays where she is. I feel trapped in her presence, until another guest bumps into me, yanking me out of my stupor. Only then do I realize I've been holding my breath. Before I can figure out what happened, she's gone. A quick scan of the room yields no sign of her. The party continues as if nothing's amiss. I'm not really one to judge, but I'm sure someone like that would not have been allowed in a fancy thing like this. What has the security been doing? Are they really that incompetent for someone so distinct to easily get in without notice? There should have been an outcry by now, particularly from the host. She's been standing almost an arm's length away from the woman, and yet she simply continues her talk with Rebecca.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way.
Is there something in the food then? That I'm starting to see things? It couldn't have been the wine though. I'm every bit as sober as when I first stepped out of my car. A horse de obre? But why would anyone want to do that? Why would Luke Wright want to do that? He's fishy, but I couldn't see why he'd think it'd be a good idea to lace the food he'd serve in his party with someone like Chief Lee on his guest list to boot. He has been linked to narcotics trade, yep. However, that kind of tactic is below him, that much I could tell. Unless there's a mass murder waiting to happen here tonight, which I highly doubt. So...
What the fuck was that?
But there's no time to look deeper into this, even if I want to. Not when a telling silence comes upon the room and draws everybody's attention to the main doors of the ballroom.
About damn time.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party. I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the Wright Mansion.
I've been tailing this guy for a while now. Before that, I heard stories from previous officers who tackled this case, none of which are pleasant. Mind, I'm not counting the incident with Professor Clerk, yet pleasant is glossing over the gravity of it. While Wright's good at covering whatever shady stuff he's doing, he's shown to be a really rotten guy. At least that's the case when he thinks none of his peers are around to judge him. I've lost track of how many counts of verbal abuse and harassment cases the guy could be pinned with. Standing in the same room as him doesn't make me want to punch him any less. Actually, the urge is stronger, but protocols. My case first and foremost. My own opinion of the man shouldn't get ahead of my purpose here. If I want to put him in his place, it should be in a court, with all proper charges filed against him. And I'll only be able to do that once I gather enough evidence to pin this bastard down.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode.
Scumbag.
Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses, as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
Repressing my annoyance, I prepare to step away from the crowd. Amidst the cheers and claps, now is a good time as any to make a move. Try to find that something the McCullough woman talked about. In the first place, I have no plans to actually shake hands with the slimeball himself. A fake smile is plastered on my face while I pretend to listen to one of the other guests gossiping about him, all while slowly itching out of the ballroom. Unfortunately, before I could get any further...
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
Rich people only have two ways to resolve their mess. Either they quietly deal with it behind closed doors, or they create an even greater problem out of it, and it just blows up in everybody's faces one way or another. fun.
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard standing there with your smarmy smile!
Not even a few seconds in, and this is already proving itself to be a big public spectacle. Why spend money on a television to buy daytime soap operas? You could just go to one of these parties and see the action unfold in real life. You get free food, too. Really, if I were an actual guest, I'd just take this as some sordid form of amusement.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
But I'm not a guest who's here for a good time. I need to focus on him, even through this whole sorry tale. So I wait, I listen, I observe. Interesting, isn't it though? That's the chief inspector's wife. Saturday. Oh my god, we jumped straight in. The morning after starts off quiet. Even the whole of Salem residences seems unusually still. The open hallway when I step out is devoid of tenants, no sounds coming from the other units either. It's almost as if something is brooding on the horizon. A peaceful night's sleep still does wonders for the mood though. I can't help remembering the last time I've slept without anything urgent interrupting. It's a nice break from all the bad news lately. If it wasn't for the insistent buzzing in my pocket waking me up, I'd sleep in. The ringing has stopped before I could move somewhere private, but sleep has also been effectively kicked out of my system by then. Pity, I could use a little more rest until I have to face the other storm. Because I owe Rebecca an explanation. It doesn't matter if it's the whole truth or another hastily spun tale. Although I haven't really figured out how to go about this yet. Unlike Zach and Isabella, who don't usually ask questions or are content with what little I could share, Rebecca's rather quick on the trigger. It will have to be set aside for later though. The sheep's name stares back at me almost as if it's mocking me. Sad. It would have been nice to just chill after a late night or maybe half listen to the news. Sure, it's the same thing we've been hearing lately. Steel beats standing outside in the chilly Luxburn morning on the phone with my boss. Sighing, I answer it, if only to get this thing over with.
Ray, where are you right now?
Now, that's a tone I didn't expect from him at this hour. Just thinking how this'll go already gives me a headache. Immediately I reach up and pinch the bridge of my nose to stave it off.
This is why I won't ever drink myself senseless.
What was that?
Nothing, Chief. A pleasant morning to you too.
He's probably calling to rag on me or complain about his wife, which is really none of my business unless it affects my case. It seems like the usual rich man cheats on wife deal. Although I wouldn't follow up on it if it were somebody else's wife. But figuring it's the chief's, hey, I trust him to come clean if the missus is related to the Wright's shady dealings. This is why I left before they even hauled the woman out last night. I'm not going to go around investigating cheating husbands and wives when it's probably just that. Chief appears to have a different idea in mind though.
There's nothing pleasant in the morning. Anyway, where are you? I told you millions of times before to keep your lines open.
He did, and not only him. Zach, Rebecca, Isabella, all of them have said the same thing numerous times in the past. But I was undercover last night. A phone call is the last thing I want to happen when there are other things I need to focus on at the time. Besides, we have radios and work-issued phones. Why isn't he using those channels if this is urgent?
Just woke up, sir. As awesome as it is to hear your voice this morning, it really is early. If you could give me a few minutes just to wake myself up, that'd be swell.
No need for that. This won't take long.
Is something wrong? Am I needed at the precinct ASAP?
Oh no, everything's good over there. Just look, kid. Pray. Don't take this personally, alright? You're off the Luxbourne firm case. Starting today.
Oh. Bombshell. Well, I did not expect to hear that either. This must be some kind of a cosmic joke. I allow some awkward seconds pass. Chief must be pulling another one of his awful pranks. Out of his bad mood or a severe hungover, maybe? Everyone knows that when given the chance, he exercises no control with his drinking. If it wasn't for his wife causing a stir, he'd probably be trashed in an hour at the party. He likely drank more than they threw. He likely drank more after they threw her out of the ballroom. Besides, his sense of humor has never been good. It's just infuriating most of the time. But when he doesn't follow it up... If I sound a tiny bit frustrated speaking to my own superior, I'm not the one to blame.
Wait, no. What? Are you kidding, Chief? Is this one of your practical jokes again? The Temps won't say anything about it, but I...
It's not that. They're orders. From the higher-ups.
Ah, the higher-ups, yes, my favorite word. Since when did the higher-ups even care about the criminal investigation department did? As far as I could tell, they don't give a hoot if CID is filled with cold cases, as long as we keep the spending low. When I need to view those old case files, though, they're locked away in the archives. You're gonna have to check with the higher-ups. I need access to these reports, see if the higher-ups would allow it. Every step, every move in this case, there isn't one that hasn't been gated by some authority. If it's not the chief, it's the commissioner, or so they always tell me. It makes one wonder why they even bothered assigning it to anyone. Not a single one of them has done anything to help move the case. And they wonder why it has taken this long for even a hint of progress to show.
You can't just drop this on me. You can't just take me off like that.
Yes, I can. And I'm sorry, Ashton. You're a good detective. One of the best I've seen in years, but...
3 years, Chief. 3 years!
3 years since that anonymous tech leak blew up. Since Luke Wright's name was openly linked to several nasty dealings within Luxborn's corporate world, some of them involving deaths. 3 years and I was the only one who made it this far, made much progress that officers with more experience were able to do when they handled this case. Just within a year and with barely any help from the damn brass at that. Of course, I'll be pissed.
Do you know what would have happened if I didn't work my ass off on this thing? If I didn't dedicate a whole year of my time on it, it would have gone cold. Like every fucking case Luke Wright has been linked to. I saved this from getting thrown into the archives, sir. I'm getting close. If you could just...
I'm fully aware of what you've done, Frey. But the Commissioner hasn't been happy with your progress. Still too slow by their standards.
Too slow? Well, what about those reports I filed? I've documented every freaking thing for them. I've given you every important lead I can gather. Isn't that enough?
They need results, not a bunch of research papers. Not one baseless assumption after another. Concrete proof, Frey. I'm really sorry. They've already made a decision. They're going to pass this on to someone who's been in the force longer. Someone who has more experience.
Someone who has more experience?
They meant nothing by it, but you're still too young to work on a case this big.
Chief, I've already done more than what those old farts ever did behind their desks. All of it, within just a year of being assigned to this.
Watch your language, Frey. Those are your superiors,
I'm not some damn rookie fresh out of training. I'm as qualified as they are.
Futile, I know it is. They'd never say it within my earshot, but from the very minute I stepped into their precinct, a lot of them had underestimated me. From their stares alone to the assignments I get. To them, I'm still just a kid. Too young, too green, too inexperienced. And once they pull that card on me, every argument I have gets thrown out the window. No matter how logical it is, how much I've accomplished, what the records say, or the amount of work I've put in every investigation they've thrown my way.
We're all aware of your skills, kid. You wouldn't have that badge and rank if you weren't good enough. However, this case is just not for you. Too high profile, too risky to put a good officer like you in harm's way.
Can he even hear himself? That reasoning is odd in itself. No one joins this line of work without knowing the dangers of it.
Don't I get a second chance? You said it yourself. I'm a good detective. It'll just be a matter of time before we can close this.
It doesn't matter what I think, Frey. You're off the case, and that's final. I expect all related files and documents on my desk by Monday morning. And don't even try to go touch anything. I know how hard-headed and determined you are.
Chief, please. A few more weeks. I'll have the proper evidence left on your desk by then. I swear it won't take longer than that.
Fred, it's too late, boy. I've already informed the other officers. You aren't to be allowed access until you've been given a new assignment. Hell, just keep out of the precinct, Frey. Take the weekend off.
Seriously, Chief, is this about last night? If this is about me being at that party, I have a good reason for...
You were at the party.
It makes me pause. His wary tone, the sudden careful note in his voice. Slowly, a frown forms in my face, my eyebrows knitting together in confusion. Much as I hate to say this about my own boss, there's also suspicion in it. How's the novel going? It's going alright. We just finished the previous chapter, and we're starting a little bit on Ashton's chapter before calling it here for the night. Hard not to think of it that way, seeing how he acted around Hannah Wright last night. Is he worried? Why should he be? Everyone's Everyone who's anyone was invited. I didn't doubt for a second why he received an invite, even if his presence was questionable. There's something wrong and I've unintentionally walked in on it. All I have is this sneaking suspicion, but when he looks at this from a different angle, put everything together, why the hell I've been taking off the case might be the same reason he was there in the first place. Fuck.
Yes, Chief, I was. For a good reason. What were you doing there? I know we don't have a strict rule against attending functions, but that was...
He coughs and it almost sounds like he's choking on his own excuses, lies. I don't want to accuse him of anything, yet. He's someone I've respected since I joined LPD, even with his bizarre sense of humor and tendencies to procrastinate. He's obviously competent enough to get the job done. He wouldn't be the Chief Inspector of Luxborn Police if he wasn't. He wouldn't last few years in service without some track record backing him. Unless that too is a fluke, you know what's backing him is not something, but someone. Oh. Oh shit. Fucking hell. Fucking shit.
Chief Harvey, about last night with the...
Why does it matter, Frey? This isn't about that.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? I'll recite the whole damn oath with taking upon being sworn to service if I can, but at this point it seems too late to remind him of that. He has probably already moved from serving and protecting people to serving and protecting his own interests. Damn it. I've suspected the upper brass of this, even the lower ranked subordinates in the force, but from my own boss? Shit, no wonder that leak didn't lead anywhere. Someone closer might have been pulling the strings. Might have been set up to fail long before the fucking case has been assigned to me. But I don't want to just give this up. I don't want to believe I've wasted an entire year for this. I don't want this to be the kind of news to tell Professor Clark after all those promises I've given the man.
I just want to know, sir, at the party, with Luke and Hannah Wright, you were...
Monday, Detective Inspector. First thing in the morning. Every copy of the files you have, I want to see it all on my table, understood?
This isn't...
Frey, am I understood?
What else can I do other than smile and nod? With my own superior expecting an answer, using that tone, brushing my questions off as easy as discarding a dead body.
Yes. Yes, sir.
He cuts the line as soon as the words are out. You're off the case, Frey, just like that. Funny why this has still caught me off guard. I've discovered years ago how different the actual thing is, how far from reality everything I've believed in as a dreamy-eyed kid. There are no high-speed pursuits every day, no thrilling gunfights or exciting cases every step of the way. Only paperwork, lots of red tape, and dealing with the politics and bureaucracy. I've set out to change things, hoping it'll make things better for the people I care about. It ended up changing me instead. Serves me right for being too idealistic, I guess. This is probably the universe telling me it's better to remain the skeptic I really am. Now here I am, standing useless, can't even do anything but grit my teeth and kick the wall. The bastard didn't even acknowledge my response.
What did the poor wall ever do to you?
It figures Rebecca would be the one to find me in this embarrassing state. Honestly, I don't like it when she sees me like this, which seems to happen a lot regardless of what I want.
Rebecca, now's not a good time.
The concern I expect from her when I turn isn't there, however. Instead, she just looks, well, the storm I left brewing last night, it's right there on her face, ready to be unleashed.
When is it ever a good time for you? You're always so busy with everything now. Now I find you here, sneaking out without even bothering with a proper goodbye. Not even a word. Really, I'm starting to think you're just keeping me around for my couch and my cooking.
Becca, it's not what you're thinking. I wasn't planning on sneaking out. I was going to say goodbye. I just had to take this call. Although, I'm not gonna lie, couch is great. 10 out of 10. Would sleep again.
Stop it with the jokes, Ashton. I'm not in the mood.
Her bitterness is not lost on me, but at this point, our friendship in our lives, how does she still expect me to answer that? What am I supposed to tell her now?
Are you still mad about last night?
She merely raises an eyebrow at me, which, to be honest, is all the response I need. Seeing her like this makes me believe those things Z-Man says. The part where Rebecca scares him, sometimes. I've certainly seen this more than once already. But the familiarity of it doesn't really take away from the downhill turn that this conversation's starting to take. Only an awkward cough serves as a way to stall.
Okay, of course you're still mad. But whatever happened last night, I really am sorry. I'll apologize as many times as you want. If you want, I'd even kneel or something.
Dude, just explain.
Ashton, an apology is nice and all, but that's not what I wanted to hear from you today.
Alright, fine, okay. Where do you want to start?
Oh, I don't know. I've honestly lost track of it by your third trip to the buffet table.
I wasn't... The drive up there took a bit. Can you blame me if I wanted to grab some appetizers?
Oh, come on, Ash! For the whole evening? For the whole party? Please don't tell me that's all you did, because I've never known you as someone who pigs out. You even took great lengths to avoid me. Should I also mention how you ignored Zach? Sometimes I get the feeling you don't want to be seen with us in public. Some friendship, huh?
You know it's not like that. It's never going to be like that, Becca.
I'll ask this again. Just what were you up to during the party? What were you doing that you couldn't even take 2 seconds to make time for your friends?
I couldn't even look her in the eye. It wasn't that I wanted to avoid them. I did it to keep Zach safe, to keep Rebecca safe. Just in case. I and her family friend, it was still a party hosted by a person of interest, by a man accused years ago of murdering a person's wife to get what he wanted. But then Chief showed up, Hannah Wright happened, and Luke Wright can't be bothered to die peacefully somewhere. All of a sudden, none of my original reasons mattered. If I was found out right then and there, hell, if Zach and Rebecca's connection with me was found out, who knows what might have happened. But Rebecca doesn't understand that. Doesn't understand what I can and can't say to keep them from harm. It's all in her eyes, in the tight line of her lips, and her furrowed brows, the hurt. This day is just off to a wonderful start. First my case, now Becca. How do I even go about this? Oh my god. Stretch the truth, insistence confidential? If I stretch the truth, then that's just gonna make it worse, and I already know that Rebecca is the kind of person who can smell bullshit from a mile away. But if I keep insisting like that it's confidential, then she might feel a little bit more, I don't know, fine about it?
It's confidential, Rebecca.
Yeah, I did go upwards, hell yeah. I wonder how many times I've told her that. And not just her, my dad, my mom, Zach, and even Isabella. How many times have I told them what essentially boiled down to mind your own business, to make sure they're all safe, to keep them out of danger. My job isn't a game. It isn't as glamorous as the television portrays it to be. I had thought so too as a child. I was so clueless back then, wasn't I? But boy did I learn. The good guys don't always win. Justice isn't always served. Investigation is not looking at a crime scene wants to get a eureka moment. It's sleepless nights at the crime lab with the tech guys. It's several days wearing the same clothes with Chinese takeout stains because I'm staking out a place. It's frustration when bureaucracy hinders you from looking into a case any further, or when you know the suspect is guilty but they get away scot-free on a technicality. It's seeing anger and pain and despair with every case.
I know you have a mountain of questions, but I've told you this so many times before. I can't say much more than that.
Still, the look on Rebecca's face, the resentment and the pain, it hurts me as well to think that I'm the cause of that. It's a familiar one too, something I've seen a lot over the years. I wonder how long it'll take before Zach starts giving me the same one. Or until I've hurt Isabella in a way that any sincere apology won't ever be enough. What a mess. I'm a mess, and it's the people close to me who have to suffer for it.
I guess, if that's the case, there's nothing much I can do about it. You're off being a... what? A hero, I guess? And I shouldn't rag on you for that.
I could never get used to how quick she just forgives me for whatever shitty thing I do. Zach and Isabella too. They've all been patient with me, unlike I with them. I don't deserve any of them for the kind of person I've turned out to be.
I'm hardly a hero, Becca. I'm just... Ash.
I expect a rhetoric, another one laced with bitterness. Instead, she laughs. Half-hearted, with barely a hint of cheer in it, but it's a laugh nevertheless. I honestly don't know what to make of that, what to do with myself upon hearing it. It's almost like the mere sound of it is meant to pierce.
Well, the least you could have done is tell me. Maybe I could have helped. Kept an ear and an eye out for you. I don't know. I could have been Irene Adler, maybe?
Her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes, but the mask, she tries so hard for me. I give her a smile of my own, though I imagine it comes off as unenthusiastic as hers. It's far easier to sleep back to banter when it's like this, to just brush off everything. At least this way, we wouldn't have to deal with awful things.
The woman? Don't flatter yourself. Nancy Blue, more like.
Her sidekick would beg to differ, Ashette.
I couldn't stop a wry grin from forming in my lips. She probably still has the photo from the contest, keeps it in her old diary. I never did find either of the two after I threatened to burn them. In the end, I just never brought it up again, hoping she'd just forget about the whole thing. But the small smile on her face says a lot. Those were good times. A lot simpler, a lot more peaceful. Now things have changed. We're no longer the same people we were as kids. Growing up together doesn't mean it always has to be just the two of us, in the first place. It's a dumb notion to believe in, when nothing ever remains constant. Things will inevitably change throughout the years. In fact, it already has, long ago. Not just with the people we allowed into our respective lives, but also with us as people, as friends. It really does get complicating as we get older, doesn't it? Not everything has to be, though. Even if it's in the form of a promise I have no idea when I'll be able to fulfill.
I swear, I'll explain when it's all over.
The silence afterwards brings an even heavier air between us. Something that Rebecca, thankfully, doesn't allow to linger more than necessary.
I suppose you have to go now, huh?
The situation's already awkward as it is. Dragging this out will only make it more, what? Difficult? Messed up? As if it isn't already.
Back to your case again?
I don't really have to. I have no case. As far as the job is concerned, I have the weekend off until I have to report to Chief on Monday. Although I don't want to just throw in the towel on this, orders are orders. This isn't like the movies. I don't get to say fuck off, throw my gun and badge at him, become some vigilante, save the day and get my job back. I'd rather get my own ass thrown in jail than do any of that. But it's also not in my nature to just sit still and do nothing. It'll drive me crazy if I just idle about. Besides, there's someone who has to know about the whole Rook Wright thing.
Yeah, I need to go talk to Professor Clark. And there's something else I need to look into.
That other matter she mentioned last night specifically. Things even the news have been blasting about to the general populace lately. Evening, afternoon, morning, all deaths with the same modulus blamed on a single serial killer. Or is it still the case?
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxborn police.
We're grasping at straws as far as these murders are concerned. In the first place, I'm not even the one heading this investigation, yet look at me treating it as if it's another high-profile case on my shoulders. How sad is that? Although all three of my friends have mentioned seeing something strange, I don't want to go into that line of thinking for now. Not yet. Not until I've exhausted every logical argument I could throw at it. To be honest though, I don't know how to take all this anymore. But I've already given Isabella my word. It'd bottom me more if I didn't follow up on a promise I made to her. And after Rebecca's claims last night, there won't be enough sarcasm in the world if what my friends have been telling me is true. I can already hear Isabella's laughter, in fact.
Figures. What else can it be?
It's not another case. It's something else. That issue Isabella mentioned yesterday morning. I'm sure you remember. You were there.
Well, at least you're not neglecting all your friends.
Becca, I promised her I'll...
She doesn't wait for me to finish. With a roll of her eyes, she turns around and shuts the door in my face. I have no idea what I've said this time, but...
I probably deserve that.
We'll just have to fix this some other time. By then, her temper is sure to have cooled off significantly. Hopefully. For now, I can't laze around. I gotta attend to things that matter more. Professor Clark first, deliver the bad news, then that issue with BRC and Isabella. Maybe I'll also drop by Zach's, check on him, hear what he has to say. He has also read that damn letter. I might as well, while I'm here, playing a paranormal detective? Or was it supernatural? I can't remember. Whatever, it wouldn't hurt anyone if I tried to get to the bottom of this. If nothing comes out of this, good. Everyone can shut up about stupid curses and we can finally get back on track with our lives. On to more important stuff. If there is something...
Are you two done?
There's a moment of confusion when I don't see her familiar ponytail about, only to find her standing behind the door to her apartment seconds later. Isabella holds it open, though only slightly, as if to hide from anyone who might happen to pass by. This early on a lazy weekend? I doubt anyone would. but from the gap and what little light there is behind her, I could make out the appearance of someone who has just recently gotten off from bed. Hair is completely disarrayed, eyes still heavy with sleep, and a small pout on her lips. She hasn't even gotten out of her pajamas. I look away long before my sense of decorum kicks in. We might be friends, I'll even dare say we've grown closer over the years, but that doesn't expand beyond the bounds of propriety. Christ, even Rebecca never greets early visitors in her sleep clothes. Though maybe it's our fault why she's up this early. Still, heat makes a slow claw up my neck, one that I quickly downplay with a solid cuff.
Isabella, you're up early.
Lame.
No, I'm not. I'm usually up at this hour. You're the one that usually sucks at getting up early.
Says the person who looks like she's just fallen out of bed.
Instead of the usual quip, she simply averts her gaze to some point beside her, and although it only flashes briefly across her face, an expression of hurt flickers in her eyes. It disappears the second she turns her attention back to me, but that moment has sent a worried twinge in my stomach. I've seen it on her plenty of times before, just never in a manner that unsettles. It feels, I don't know, off this time? I didn't say anything wrong, did I?
Hey, are you...
Anyway, was that Becca with you? You both sound like Mama and Papa when they fight. You're awfully loud. If we get another memo from the landlady, I'm asking the guard to ban you from ever entering this place.
Me? Becca's the one almost shouting.
Yeah, well, she lives here. You don't. You have no excuse. You're the suspicious-looking person.
Thanks. Glad at least one person appreciates how I pretty up this place.
Don't flatter yourself. This place would be so much better without having to see your face every few days.
Ouch. She follows it up with another pout. But her ruffled appearance, particularly how puffy her eyes are, I noticed just now, takes away from the intimidating effect she's trying to show. Really, right now she just looks more like an angry puppy. I might have laughed had it not given me another nagging sense that something is definitely wrong with her. What, has she been crying earlier? That is worrying. She rarely does that. The only time it happened, the one time I've ever seen her genuinely tear up over something, I think it was after Devlin Court, the night at the bridge. I want to ask. She seems determined to keep it to herself though.
Belle, did something...
About yesterday, Ash. The things we talked about. Do you think we can take a look at it today?
We? I never said you're coming with me. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. You'll be the first to know if I find anything.
No, I want to go with you. I'll be ready in a few. This won't take long.
Isabella, you really don't have to. I can handle it on my own. You'll just...
I won't get in the way, I promise. Besides, maybe I can help. You know, if there are files you want to check.
I don't like what she's implying. It's true LPD's having a hard time with this, but taking Isabella with me, it's out of the question. Under normal circumstances.
You're the one who's going to get in trouble if you do that.
You said it yourself. You need information, and I can help you get that. And it's not like it matters anymore. I just don't want to stand around doing nothing today.
There it is again. The slight shift in her eyes, the mild crease forming between her eyebrows, and the mild slump in her shoulders while she crosses her arms tightly around herself, like she's shielding herself from whatever painful thing there is out there. I have plenty of reasons why I shouldn't let her tag along. First and foremost, she's a civilian. Second, I have no concrete plan of action yet. I'm going into this blind. No matter how I look at it, it's simply better for her to just wait so she won't get dragged into what might be another one of my failures. Her assumptions might be a dead end for all we know. But seeing that expression on her, hearing her speak those words out loud, in a desperate and almost pleading tone, I can't bring myself to say no. So I give in, because right there I see myself in her. The person who doesn't want to stay idle, who doesn't want to think of the problems haunting him.
Alright, 5 minutes.
What? You're timing me?
Well, I can't wait forever. I'm a very busy guy. 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Isabella.
I hate you so much.
4 minutes and 30 seconds, 29, 28. I'd hurry if I were you.
Ugh, you're awful! I hope you never get a girlfriend.
She slams the door right after, although my chuckles, the mirth and the lightness in it linger. With her, those have always come easy somehow. even as its echoes fade and only the ghost of a smile remains.
It's not like I'm looking for anyone else.
I want to tell her. It's not because I can't. I won't. I'm the one who has chosen not to, until I've fixed myself, until I've found myself underneath all that guilt and those lies I've been telling all these years. Because no matter how heavy the weight of these feelings are, I'm not yet worthy of them. Of her. Until then, little words and gestures are the only things I can offer. Minor stuff such as digging deeper into this thing with BRC in order to ease her worries. I'm not even sure if this will give us anything. Unlike with a firm case, which I already have proper leads on, I'm just going by her word on this. Speaking of the Luxborn firm case, I still have to inform the professor. The apprehension's there for sure. I made a lot of promises to the man, and I would have preferred to tell him in person, not over the phone. But it's better for him to hear from me rather than from a stranger. The railings offer a steady support while I wait for him to answer. I'd like to think I can do this without losing my nerve. My grip on the bar surely tightens, though, once the call connects.
Ashton!
Not running today, Professor?
He's usually at the park on late Saturday mornings, as long as it isn't raining cats and dogs. Keeps him young and healthy, he says, and he's certainly fit for a man of his age with a sedentary job.
Oh, no, not today.
He's definitely at the usual place, though. Cheers and laughter, likely from children and families, filter through the receiver. I tend to avoid the park precisely because of this. No use reminding myself of the could-haves when it's already over. Mom's doing well with her career. Dad's also fine the last time I visited. Although neither remarried, they're both content with their lives as it is. I'm probably the only one still caught up with it, hence my aversion. But all in all, it's still a pleasant sight to see, if you're the kind who takes joy in such sights like Professor Clark does.
Just thought I'd enjoy the nice weather before it takes a turn for the norm again. And to what do I owe the pleasure?
The guy certainly seems happy right now. In any case, I almost don't want to break the news to him. But it's better to get this off quick, as long as he doesn't shoot the messenger. He's not the type. However, long-held resentment can change a person, even someone as mild-mannered as the professor.
I was hoping to talk to you about the case.
I suppose I'm just a downer today. As soon as I say those words, he pauses, and the lightness in his voice is gone in an instant. Every time we've talked about this in the past, he does that. He's probably trying to gauge the situation based on the tone of my voice. Perhaps it's a good thing I'm delivering this news through the phone. Who knows what he'll see in my face and my mannerisms. The art of keen observation? I learned it from the man. He probably already has an idea what this might be about from my manner of speaking alone.
You aren't in trouble, are you?
For a second, I hesitate, looking at the dirt beneath my shoes. But I manage eventually. After a long, rack draw of breath, I pick up where I've left off, though still fumbling with my words.
Well, I'm in a bit of trouble, if you can call it that.
Ashton!
He only assumes that tone when there is a reprimand at its heels.
But I'm not in danger or anything.
You've said that same excuse a million times before, Detective Inspector. That exhausted rasp in your voice tells a different story.
It's nothing like what you're thinking. Don't worry. I was taken off the Luxborn firm case.
I expect anger, frustration, maybe even disappointment. But all he gives me is a small sigh of relief.
Is that so? Well, at least you aren't in danger. Liz wouldn't be too happy if she heard you right now.
Liz. Aunt Liz, she insisted I call her, his late wife. A sweet-tempered woman by so many standards. They were never blessed with kids and content herself with simply managing their bakery. But she's the closest I had to a mom in the few years I had known her, the professor too. In the absence of my own parents in my life, the two filled the ache their divorce left in me.
Believe me, you'd get an earful. You don't want to show up at her doorstep looking like you haven't slept a wink either.
How many years has it been since? 9? 10? I can still remember it vividly. Two men permanently dressed, briefcases in hand, and a stern look on each other's face. They were already frequent visitors to the bakery for a few months, something about the lot being a prime property in downtown Luxborn. I think they were hoping to settle a deal with them, but neither of the couple gave in to their demands. Why should they? That quaint little shop was a dream for them. Aunt Liz sent me home early that night after a footloose wait for the professor. The next morning, news of a bakery razed to the ground had spread across the whole city, one casualty. A few weeks later, the property was sold to the Wrights Enterprise. A fucking hotel now stands in its place. Of course, an investigation was launched after the incident, The name Luke Wright was briefly at the center of it, but with the lack of any evidence, the case ultimately went cold. The professor hides it well. However, I can tell that he hates that man to this day. He might even blame Luke Wright for every tragedy that happens in the city. He has never blamed me though, when I'm, as equally responsible. I knew something's off the moment those men stepped inside the shop. I could have saved her that night. I could have prevented anything from happening to her, called for help or whatever. I didn't. So it continues to eat me until today, the guilt. The Luxborn firm case would have been our chance at reopening that old case if we could prove Rook right of his crimes. Instead, we're back to square one. Yet all he has for me are words of comfort. To think he can still be this concerned about me after my carelessness, after I've broken another promise a second time? People never cease to amaze me.
You might think that you have failed as an officer. Or maybe you think that you have failed me. And you know more than anyone. I would love to see that man taken down. If anyone deserves to be tried in high court, it's him. But I'm glad nothing's happened to you while you were working on this. That's what's most important. I'd hate to get news like that again.
Suddenly he stops. Imagine a thoughtful look flash in his eyes as he thumbs the wedding band on his ring finger before he continues. Another habit. He has never removed it since that day, has never thought once to remarry, even when he managed to continue with his life and return to some resemblance of normalcy. It's his way of honoring her, I suppose, where he couldn't bring justice to the man responsible for his loss. Some people are just hard to forget.
It's not like another death. Yours or even his will bring back my wife.
Silence falls between us afterwards. I don't quite know what to say after that, really. Should I apologize, show some sympathy? Going into this, I should have thought of something other than just breaking the news to him. As it is, it seems the only thing we can do is feel sorry for each other's misfortunes.
I apologize too, for putting you up to this.
In another occasion, under different circumstances, I might have accepted that, but...
You didn't have to, but you've already done more than any officer who has investigated this. So don't worry about this, old man. I know your department's people all have their hands full recently too. What with the upsetting news we've been getting as of late? Deaths almost every day. I'm not entirely sure if that has anything to do with the other. It seems too big even for someone like him. But if this is that man's doing...
Professor, please.
Maybe if things around me hasn't started going beyond my control, the letter, the mansion, the supposed curse behind those, I'd still be quick to blame it all on the bastard too. But as much as I wanted to keep him responsible for it, to add another to his list of sins, it might not be the case. Agreeing will only cut a deeper wound on the professor. I don't want to keep clinging to this resentment for much longer. He has already gone through so many years of it. This kind of anger? It's the sword that blinds people. Despite his reassurances, the bitterness still seeps into every syllable he utters. It's one thing for me to act like this. It's painful to watch someone I've considered a second father to go down this path.
Please don't apologize. It's really alright. I can try to get it back on Monday when I meet with the chief. No promises, but if not, I'll make sure to keep an ear out for any news. Chief said he's passing it on to a senior officer. I should be able to catch a few tidbits every once in a while. But I swear I won't just give up on this. I'll do everything in my power to get Aunt Liz's case reopened for you.
Promises again. A bad habit at this point. I wish I could do more for him. All this time, I've prided myself over being the one to always know. Because suddenly, aside from Wright and the murders plaguing the city, I have ghosts and curses to worry about. Things that are completely out of my depth. Professor Clark's right in some way. Things would be so much easier if we just blamed Luke Wright for all this. At least finding evidence would be a breeze, and I'd be all too happy to put him in a place he belongs. Although, if he was, in any way, also complicit to what's happening, legalities have my tides tied. I've got to take my leave and sleep too now. Until next time, have a good night as well. Alright, Sabu, have a good rest. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you have a good start of the week. Of the festive week, perhaps. I'm about to wrap up myself as well, until I finish with this section. But maybe that's my fault. I might have missed the ticket to closing the case once and for all last night. If only I had done a better job during the party. But then, the commotion. There was Hannah Wright and Rebecca distracting me from my purpose too. I'd include that Kate crasher as well, even though it's only for a moment. So many things have gone wrong last night that...
This isn't a prank! I saw something! See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys! It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Last night, at the party.
But it's real! What do you think I saw? It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
That woman.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Shit. If that was what Isabella had been warning us about, if it was the same thing Rebecca talked about last night, how many of these instances have I dismissed since reading the letter? How many haven't I ignored and passed off of some effect of fatigue or lack of sleep? Even last night, a hallucinogen lacing the food is the first thing I considered, purely because that's what my training dictates. It's a mindset I've grown used to. It's the setting the gears in my head automatically takes in a situation like that. Of course, I'm not discounting all of that yet until I have enough information, something to form a conclusion from. Proof in whatever form it may come. But thinking straight is impossible when all of a sudden all your beliefs are being upturned. In the most violent way possible at that. Jesus, I need a sounding board. I need to talk to someone and Zach's the best person for that.
I have to go, Professor.
I don't have time to stop and listen to what the professor has to say as I cut the call short. In the same second, Isabella emerges from her apartment, fully dressed and ready for the day. As usual, she greets me with a smile, but it falls just as fast when she catches a glimpse of my face. Shame, that would have been the first comforting thing I see today. It annoys me that I'm partially responsible for the worried one, replacing it. I must look close to a picture of someone choking or dying, because there's nothing but concern in the first words she speaks.
Ash, are you... Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, no, I don't, okay? But we should hurry. Come on, don't forget to lock your door.
Seriously, you look like you're about to fall over. Are you alright? Because if you're planning to faint right here, I won't be able to carry you.
Yes, don't mind me. I just remembered some stuff from last night. I need to talk to Z-Man about this. Mind if we drop by his place first?
Shouldn't we call him? To let him know? It's still pretty early, though we'd probably arrive there around noon. Also, what do you mean about this? Is Zach...
He was also there when I opened the letter, right? He read it too. I'm sure he's fine, but it wouldn't hurt to check on him. To make sure. See if he'll say the same things you told me yesterday.
If he's also been seeing things, if it's also the same woman I saw last night...
I'm not saying there's really a curse yet, but we have to look at this from every possible angle. And don't worry, he won't mind. He's probably just watching TV right now. Let's go.
Okay, but speak up if you're not feeling well. You really look like you're choking on something. You didn't have to do this for me in the first place.
You know it's not as simple as that.
I head down to my car in record time without a single second wasted to hit the road and drive to Zach's place. If any one of us, other than Isabella, who knows anything about what's going on, who can help sort the muddied mess my mind is, it's got to be him. He listened to her. Okay, we're back into Zach's place, and I think that's where I'm gonna end it for today. I think that's a good stopping point. Let's give it at that. Man, we got quite far, didn't we? Yeah, we're here now. Story update. We got like, what, 5% done? 5% done of the branch so far? It's a long-ass story. And I'm loving every single second of it. Anyway, I think we can end it here for today and read out to someone. Oh. Well, before heading off for the night, I think I'm just gonna read into Pansy since he did drop by. And he's playing Parkitect. Ooh. Let me just quickly main menu, exit the game, and let us commence to two. Parkitect. Oh, right. I can't really go in because he has ads disabled. Raids, I meant disabled. Oh, well. I think that being said, I think I'm gonna let y'all disperse then. I go to Rack Hudson's stream if you want, but I can't raid into him because he has raids disabled. I'm pretty sure for a good reason. He mentioned it on his last stream that he did, that he has his raids closed so that people don't end up, you know, going all in and making a huge fuzz when some people are attempting to sleep. But yeah, thank you everyone who listened to the story. I hope y'all enjoyed with the reading session as much as I enjoyed reading. We'll continue this off hopefully next Sunday. As for the streams, seeing as how it's an upcoming festive week, and seeing I'm gonna have some guests over, I don't think I'm gonna be able to stream the upcoming week at all unless it's gonna be like on a Friday or Saturday, because festive Christmas, everyone's gonna be having a time with their loved ones. So that being said, I'm saying that the next stream will probably be either on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, where we'll continue reading the letter. That being said, guys, thank you everyone again who lurked, who said hello, who chatted, who listened. Hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time zone that you're currently at. Make sure to take care of yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Peace out.